SeattleSports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
So Stacy, why are you not in your chair right now?
No one wants.
Stacy claims that there's a spider, and we've lost her completely.
Worse than that, Curtis. It was so much worse than that.
It's a spider.
No, it was.
It's a spider.
I'm telling you right now.
No. Oh darn.
It was on my legs. It was on my legs.
Oh no.
And I looked down, and I could see it moving, and it was big. You guys. It wasn't like a.
No.
Daddy long legs. It was a real spider. And
I'm
going to
tell you what I tell my girls.
I'm out of breath.
You are bigger than it, and this is your house.
I'm out of breath from crouching. I brushed it off my legs, and it went onto the ground.
Spiders are good guys.
And I don't know where it went, but it was huge. And neither of you guys are believing me. And all you guys do is gaslight me and tell me, no, there wasn't a spider, Stacy. It wasn't that.
I'm not believing you about this. I'm just saying
My heart's racing.
You're bigger than it, and you shouldn't let it bother you this much.
Sorry, Matt.
I was gaslighting you. I think you're full of it.
The timeline of events here was just so short to the start of the show. I did the snapshot standing up so that I wouldn't die.
425 is already calling you a wimp. We're 2 minutes into the show.
I'm not a wimp. Spiders can be poisonous, and they have so many legs. What are you doing with all those legs? You have no business with that many legs.
Poisonous spiders aren't
aggressive.
The ones in our building.
I just don't like them. They're creepy crawly. They're way faster than they look. They're horrible. They're horrible creatures.
No, they're very good. They're very vital to our ecosystem.
Oh, man,
of
that
course
threw me
you'd be
off.
one of those weird spider kids growing up.
You would
Actually,
be a spider
they're good for
kid.
you. No, they're gross and disgusting. Shut
They're
up.
really important for the environment. Shut up, Curtis.
ecosystem.
Shut up.
Curtis.
The second I see that spider, I'm going to kill it. The second I see him, he's dead. You're dead. Let me get to, I'm sorry, you guys. Let me get to the Mariners here. I got thrown off. It happened right before the show opened. I'm actually out of breath. All right. Let's get us back on track. The Mariners have a big problem pitching away from Seattle, Curtis. That has been something we've talked about off and on this year. Actually, initially, we were talking about road-home splits in general for the team. They are a better home team than they are a road team, now below 500 on the road. We had also talked about, in particular, Julio being better on the road than he was at home. Now it's becoming very obvious that your pitchers have a pretty big gap, pretty big splits between where they are on the road and at home. We're going to talk about why.
Yeah, that's the bummer thing about having a home stadium like T-Mobile Park is that, for as tough as it is to generate runs offensively, that's how easy it is to keep runs off the board with your pitching staff. And then conversely, when your offense performs better away from Seattle, unfortunately, your pitching has not performed better away from Seattle. In fact, it's a lot worse away from T-Mobile Park than it is here in the friendly confines of your own home stadium. And you're just looking at the ERAs, the road ERAs of the 6 starting pitchers for the Mariners right now. Logan Gilbert on the road, last night's starting pitcher, an ERA of 6, an opponent OPS of 864 against him. Like, on the road, teams are hitting very well against Logan Gilbert. That's concerning. George Kirby has an ERA of 5.08 on the road. Luis Castillo, 4.92. Logan Evans, 5.36. Bryce Miller, who has pitched about a half season's worth of his normal innings, 6.38 ERA. Brian Wu, the only guy right now kind of near where his season ERA is at 3.48. So when you look at this Mariners team and where they are in the standings and what we kind of hope for them to be here in 2025, like, there is a possibility that you're going to have to start your postseason out on the road, especially if you end up as one of the 3 wildcard teams, and especially if you're not the top wildcard team, which the Mariners still are, but I believe there's a 3-way tie right now atop the American League wildcard standings. So if you are having this much trouble away from home, then you're going to potentially run into trouble if that's where your postseason is going to start.
Yeah.
I asked Buster Olney the question late last week, kind of like how he would construct a playoff rotation. He said he had to think about it for a little bit, and say, probably Brian Wu based off the numbers, but maybe clubhouse politics dictate it. I don't think there's any question right now who would be my game one starter amongst this group. And that it remains the same at home as it would be on the road, and that's Brian Wu.
And on the one hand, it is great that we're talking about Wu that way now when last year we were saying, oh, you got kind of an extra guy between Brian Wu and Miller. Maybe Miller has a higher ceiling. Maybe you should trade Wu and go and acquire a bat. Those were our big conversations, right, about, what this team should do to add offense. It was always, you have so much pitching, why not deal from it? Now, credit to the Mariners for saying we're absolutely not dealing from pitching. That's our strength, not only because it's helped them in terms of those starters getting hurt, but it's helped them because those starters haven't been quite the same. And you would be worse without Logan and George Kirby, even though both are clearly struggling. You pointed out some of those numbers. Dan Wilson talked about what the Phillies were able to do to Gilbert.
I mean, I thought they were getting to his stuff. Looked like some were hit hard, some weren't, and they were all finding holes. And then they just were able to put a lot of pitches on him in that one inning. And we just don't see that often from Logan, but it happens. I mean, it's baseball. It happens, and they were able to string together some hits.
Gilbert on what he tried to do versus why it didn't work out.
Same thing I usually do. Just didn't really have great execution, so just trying to get ahead and keep the ball down, and didn't really do either of those very well.
A bit more here.
Yeah, probably the better pitches that I made were foul balls, and get a ton of swing and miss on those, and then after a while made mistakes. So kind of bad combination.
Yeah, Logan wasn't fooling him, Curtis.
No, not at all. He got rocked hard last night. It was over pretty early into that ball game. I had just gotten home around, I want to say like 4:30 yesterday after picking up the girls from my parents' house, and I look at my phone and it's already 6-0, and I'm like, well, I don't really need to catch the rest of this one.
I started cleaning. I turned broadcast on, just left it going, and was like, well, let me run some errands.
At that point, you're just kind of like almost hate watching in a way where it's like, okay, wow.
It feels crazy to say the game didn't feel as close as 12-7.
Yeah.
And yet that's how I feel.
You see Cole Young hit the 3-run home run. It's like, now you're going to hit the home run. Mitch Garver hits a home run too. Now you're going to do that. Like, that's kind of how it felt last night when the Mariners put up, 7 runs in the final 3 innings, even though the game was well in hand at that point. It's just, this road trip has been really tough, and you're now kind of entering this weird spot where it's like you could undo a lot of the ground that you made up over the course of that 10-game homestand where you went 9-1 on it. Right now, you're 2-5 on this road trip. You've got a game today and then a game tomorrow. Tomorrow looks like there's going to be rain in the forecast again, which has been the Mariners' Achilles heel this year, is games that have either been delayed or there have been a rain delay in the games. They have yet to win one of those.
No matter how great the pitcher looked to start. Logan had basically, I think, a perfect game or a no-hitter going early against the Yanks.
And it completely fell apart.
Absolutely fell apart.
Sunday, they lost to the Mets in a delayed start. And it was only delayed by like 45 minutes. It wasn't even like a significant delay either. So you have that to look forward to tomorrow. I just really hope that the Mariners can steal one of these games over the remainder of this series against the Phillies, because you don't want to lose all of that ground that you made up over the course of the start of August, and we're now leaving the midway point of August and coming home to face an A's team that has not been easy this year. You lost your last series to the A's, and then a Padres team that has a lot of talent. Yes, you swept them earlier in the season, but both teams look very different from what they were the last 3 times these teams played.
360. The pitching wasn't bad last year, though. What's changed? That's been something that we've talked about a ton.
You're right. It wasn't bad.
You have a couple theories
in total, but even last year on the road, the pitching still wasn't amazing. They were kind of a middle of the road team in terms of team ERA on the road. At home, they were phenomenal. They were incredible, but they still weren't necessarily a lights-out pitching staff on the road. But this year, it just feels like the problems have been exponentially worse than what they were. Like, Logan Gilbert should be your staff ace. He should be your number one guy. He was your opening day starter this year for a reason, because he had such a phenomenal year last year.
Well, and not only that, Curtis, but was pitching late into games, pitching the most innings last year.
Exactly. He was doing everything that he's just not doing, and maybe he's still feeling the effects of his injury, his stamina. Maybe he just hasn't been there this season, but you look at a 6 ERA on the road and an opponent OPS of 864, that's unacceptable. Like, he has been your worst starting pitcher on the road. That's not what you need out of your number one guy. And, I've seen it too. I think back to that Anaheim start where it was the Roku game. He was cruising along through 4 innings, starts the 5th inning with what looked like a called strike 3. It was a ball 4, and then everything just kind of spiraled from there and didn't even make it through the 6th inning in that game. So it just has been maybe 1 or 2 innings in all of these starts that Logan Gilbert has faltered in. And I just need to see more from him on the road. And I get that it's a lot easier said than done. And Citizens Bank Ballpark is definitely a hitter's environment. Like, that's one of the best hitters ballparks in all of baseball. But again,
these were also no doubters, though.
Right. But also, like, you've got the stuff. Like, you've clearly shown that you've got the stuff. I don't know if it's now more of like a mental thing on the road rather than just like the dimensions of each home ballpark. But it's been pretty tough to watch this team go out on the road over the last couple of weeks based off of, just how the games have gone.
This clip from Jeff Passan will buy me a minute to continue to look for this spider. Jeff asked how common it is for good starting pitching to have a bad stretch like this.
Perfectly normal. You don't like to see it, but there have been situations where teams have absolutely faltered toward the end of seasons and gone and won World Series. Look at the 2023 Rangers, for example. Like, they were not very good down the stretch, and they kind of limped over the last couple months into a postseason spot, and then they just figured it out. So I am not the kind of guy who thinks peaking early is a thing. Like, when I'm talking with people about the Brewers, they will ask, are they peaking early? And my response is no, they're playing good baseball. and that's never a bad thing. I just as I don't think that winning in September necessarily puts you into a position to be better off, I don't think losing dooms you to this awful October exit.
Well, that's good. I really hope it doesn't, Jeff, but at a certain point, you do need to see a little more consistency. I'll give at least George Kirby credit for this. He had 4 good quality starts consecutively before kind of struggling against, was it his 6th start after that? Maybe he had 5 in a row or 4 in a row before really struggling against the Mets. And kind of a weird environment, Little League Classic. I don't know. Maybe there's something there to just it being a weird game. But
yeah, he had allowed 4 earned runs in his last 4 starts combined heading into Sunday's game against the Mets. And then just the humid environment and the just kind of uniqueness of the whole thing in Williamsport. He had mentioned that normally on his throw days, he doesn't do really anything before the game. He just kind of keeps to himself. But obviously with an event like this, there's a lot of pregame obligations that these players and these teams and coaches have to do. So maybe just him having a different routine that day is what kind of tanked his chances, which, I mean, look, I get that we all have our routines and what we do in our job, and it can, impact us in what way. But, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like saying hi to kids and, like, sliding down a hill.
They're distractions. They're little distractions.
Not the kind of distraction that most of us have to deal with, like, sick kids and traffic and all that.
Or spiders.
Sure. Yeah, we're dealing with that right now.
Again, I can't believe. I think what really grinds my gears is you guys acting like I was making it up. And not only that, but the text line then getting in on it. Someone said, I think Stacy's gaslighting us. No one saw the spider.
They said they're adding you to the diva list.
Which, honestly, for freaking out on air, because it happened, I'm not kidding, 30 seconds before we went on air. Someone says Stacy has Tiffany Gomez vibes right now.
Oh, she's the one that, that isn't real on the airplane.
Everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. But I am telling you right now, that is not
I am telling you right now, this spider was real. You guys aren't believing me. I know that you guys are thinking I just saw a shadow or maybe a hairball or something was on my leg, but that was a real spider. It looked like it had a knife in its hands, but it was a real spider that was here on my leg. It took us off the rails, but it was terrifying. I'd like to see anyone else do live radio with
I'm doing it right now.
Wild animals crawling all over them. The Seahawks regular season is approaching, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to their home opener on September 7th against the 49ers. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, it's easy to get. Just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download.
You know
Curtis, I'm in the middle of a read.
No. This is actually relevant because Matt sent me this email. Matt sent me this email, I believe, later today in our building. The Reptile Man will be doing a hit on our FM station.
This is what it is.
So there's going to be like snakes in our building.
No,
there's going to be like gators in our building. I'm dead serious about this.
Oh my God, it's all
because
coming
I think
together.
from what I heard, the Reptile Man is retiring soon, which, like, I don't know what you do with all those animals. But
You release them into other studios. I'm telling you guys, this spider was real. This spider was real. It was on my leg. It was crawling on my leg.
Reptile Man's not going to get here till like 1
I could hear it hit the
o'clock,
ground when I flung it off of me. I'm sorry to yell into my mic. My heart was racing.
We're going to
My
have
blood
you
is
pet a
pumping.
snake later today.
I'll touch reptiles because they're sleek and kind of modern.
They're even more unpredictable than a spider is.
Well, it depends on the reptile. Something about spiders, I know that there are people that can agree with me. Something about spiders, even medium-sized spiders, which this one was, it is more scary than like if someone has a big, like Britney Spears held a snake. I can do it.
Sure.
You know, spiders? Nope.
You're bigger than the spider.
This contest runs through Monday, August 25th. Again, text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. These are tickets, you and 3 friends, to the home opener.
To a regular season game.
To a regular season game against the 49ers. You should have the Seattle Sports app anyways. It makes listening so easy, especially with simultaneous broadcasts between the Seahawks and Mariners. It's seriously awesome. All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites. We must make headlines. The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bubba and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Colts have named Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback to open the season over Anthony Richardson. What's the real headline?
Leave it to the Colts to tank in a year where a Manning can go number 1 overall. We see you. We know what you're
Any
doing.
generational quarterback can be taken number 1 overall.
That's
the Colts
so
somehow
Colts.
find themselves in the running for the number 1 pick.
Luck.
Yeah.
Manning.
It's already written in the stars. It's like the Spurs with 7-foot generational centers, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Victor Wembanyama. The script is already there. Like we know this is going to happen, right? A Manning in Indianapolis, it makes too much sense.
What other contenders, I shouldn't say that, what contenders are there for the number 1 overall pick? You've got the Browns who are starting Joe Flacco in week 1, and who knows what their quarterback situation is going to be. Now, they've got talent, the Browns do.
Right.
But, like, they don't have Quinshon Judkins, their second-round running back, under contract right now. Obviously still awaiting to see what's going to happen with a potential suspension or anything going on with him. But, like, they also haven't signed him to a deal. And I think they're free to negotiate. So there's clearly some issues there. I think
I feel like the
Browns'
Giants,
number 1 pick is possible.
I feel like the Giants Saints.
I don't know.
New Orleans
The Saints.
also.
The Giants' defensive line is really good. I think that the Giants are going to be one of those teams that, like, its defense is keeping it afloat, like holding its head above water, forcing it to breathe.
It would be interesting if the Saints got Arch Manning too, because his grandpa Archie Manning played forever for the Saints. So I think it'll come down to the Colts and Saints for the number 1 pick this year. Because man, Daniel Jones being named your starting quarterback, that's brutal. I saw a Colts beat writer tweet out a poll amongst his readers, who are mostly Colts fans, obviously. Who would they rather have start at quarterback? 91% said Anthony Richardson. They do not want Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback.
Have they
and
seen?
I can see. I mean,
Anthony Richardson's ceiling is unbelievably high, but how often is he actually going to be able
he's got
to hit the ceiling?
completion percentage of like 48% or something.
Like, that's not
ridiculous.
sustainable.
No.
I think that so many people, you know what they do, and I completely understand this because I've done this. So many people look at what Josh Allen was able to do and think, oh, well, it's possible to be a quarterback with a ton of physical attributes, with the ability to run, who just can't hit the side of a house. Who can then fine-tune that accuracy. Because prior to Allen, there had been a very fair narrative that, like, if you are not an accurate quarterback, like an objectively inaccurate quarterback in college, you can't fix that in the pros. And so I think people constantly point to Allen as an example of that changing. But what if he's the exception to the rule?
It's like dating the bad boys. You're not going to be able to fix them.
You can't fix Anthony
Even if
Richardson.
you think you can. Even if you think you can, you can't.
Look,
they are who they are. Anthony Richardson is who he is.
But what if
Josh Allen's the exception.
Yeah.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, Bryce Miller returns to the Mariners rotation tonight for the first time since June 6th. What's the real headline?
Let's go for 3 innings tonight, boys.
Let's do it.
Let's
go.
Do it. Get through 3. Get through 3. Say it with me now. Get through 3. Get through 3. If you were Dan Wilson, if you were the Mariners, would you have? I'm assuming he's on an informal pitch count, unless there's been one. I haven't.
Well, I think he got up to 75 pitches his last time out against whatever team the Rainiers were playing the other day. But he got through, I think, like 5 2/3 innings pitch, moved pretty efficiently through the order. 2 of his 3 rehab starts looked great, and he had the velocity up near 98 miles an hour. So looking good on that front. But tonight, I think probably between 75 to 85 pitches might be his limit.
Against
so
this lineup, that's tough.
Right. So I say if Bryce Miller can get you 5, that's going to be a success. You just don't want to have your bullpen pitching against this Phillies lineup too much. So I guess be at the ready, everybody.
Speaking of the bullpen, I know it's not going to give us a ton of time for the third one, but we'll be quick with this. The 253, Dan made a mistake by keeping Casey Legumina in the game. By far their worst reliever. Not a good day for Wilson. I think that this is an interesting debate coming out of this game. I think that people looked at that decision and thought, well, you're right, I do hate this. Because at the time, wasn't it a 3-run game initially when Legumina goes in there?
7-4, I want to say.
So it is arguably not a great decision in a winnable game. However, the Phillies tallied in total, 21 hits? 20 hits? Like, it was just an objectively god-awful game for the Mariners. I don't know that having Legumina in or out changes that, and I'd rather, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'd rather not burn through Munoz, Brash, Spire. And when you're looking at the arms that you could use.
You've got your leverage arms available.
I hate the idea of punting on any game, but I think that from Seattle's point of view, you're going, well, look, you have to think that your guy can get this done. This is an objectively great lineup. It's going to be tough no matter what.
Yeah, at that point, I think the Mariners were like, it's going to be very tough for us to come back in this one, even when it was 7-4. So at that point, you're kind of, you don't want to take your foot off the gas pedal in that game, but you're going to have to start kind of looking at it and saying, okay, maybe we need to keep tomorrow in mind with who we have come out of our bullpen today.
Let's scrap our third headline, but it's about Trey Hendrickson, and the good news is that we're going to get to that in 4-down territory at 11:15 anyway, so don't worry, we'll touch base with the latest there. Coming up next, Jeff Passan thinks Victor Robles will and should be suspended, but for how long?
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com. Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
For Riverside Roofing, beyond the national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville that's built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. Find them at riversideroofingllc.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
When your outside matches how you feel on the inside, that's kindness. And so I think that is the one thing that the Lee Johnson Auto family encourages us, is to be like really authentic and really be intentional in how we treat our customers and how we treat each other.
To have a good company, have a good culture, have a good crew that takes care of your customer base, you have to take care of your crew. You can't have miserable people and expect them to give a customer a good experience.
Walking in here, meeting some of the employees already before I was even hired on, welcoming me in, gave me a good indication what this company was all about. So if I were to make an hour and a half drive here and to have fun here for 8 to 9 hours a day versus if it's the other way around, then I'll take it.
It's not a script. It's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well. Stacy?
Do you have something you'd like to share with the class?
Need to
You cried spider to start the show.
Apology. In the break, I don't like spiders. I'm afraid of spiders. There was one on my leg to begin the show that I flung off, and it landed on the ground.
I don't think there was a spider.
Was there? You guys accused me of lying. I said you're gaslighting me. Sexism.
I think you're now trying to gaslight us because what discovery was made during our commercial break? That is a hairball that was on your jeans.
That looks like, if you're looking at the stream, this looks like it could be a spider.
You think this is proving your case?
I think so. I think so. No, I think it is. I really think it is because if you
dug your hole deeper,
if you weren't paying attention to it, and if you just kind of looked down, you would think that this is a large.
You would?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think at all. 425 calling it a hoax.
It wasn't. No, hoaxes are intentional. Hoaxes are on purpose. They're.
I mean, maybe
malicious.
This was
malicious lies. That's what a hoax is. To put forward some propaganda. This was me finding a way to survive, to continue to persevere through a 23-minute beginning to the show, knowing that there was a spider on the ground next to me, and then realizing afterward that I didn't see it right. But it was real to me. And you need to accept my truth. We can move on now. We've got more important things to talk about.
A spider.
We've got more important
last
things to
vision
talk
appointment?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's your optometrist?
I don't have one. We have more important.
How much coffee have you had this morning?
Too much. Can I move on? Jeff Passan.
No. This is much more fun.
Oh, my God. Victor Robles threw his bat, and it's kind of an unprecedented situation for the league. There isn't really an example of how long a guy gets suspended for doing.
Do you think he was trying to throw it at a spider?
Let me finish.
Is that going to be his excuse?
Jeff Passan on with Brogdon Salk this morning asked about the bat throw and whether that suspension should be long, short. What suspension sounds fair?
It was embarrassing and immature and wrong,
and
I think he knew that. Look,
of course.
He's been going. Clearly, he's been going through a lot. All of us go through a lot, and we don't throw things at other people. So he will be the suspension, I fear, will be long, and it will be entirely justified.
Yeah.
The suspension will be long and entirely justified. Again, there's not really a precedent for what the suspension looks like. We have suspensions we've seen for guys that have, like Jorge Lopez threw at Andrew McCutchen intentionally at his head. That was 3 games.
Yeah.
So we have versions. Bryce Harper's thrown his helmet and charged the mound. Like, we've had versions of guys getting in fights and getting mad, throwing their pitches at guys, throwing a helmet on the ground, charging a mound. Throwing a bat, we haven't really.
Yeah, that one is kind of far-fetched because, we just haven't seen that hardly at all. I look back to the last time the Mariners were facing any kind of significant suspensions, and that would have been the 2022 brawl between them and the Angels. Jesse Winker got the most, 7 games for not necessarily inciting the brawl, but definitely being the one to push it over the edge. Angels manager Phil Nevin got 10 games for that. J.P. Crawford got 5 for coming over the top of the pile and just, raining down haymakers.
Is it irresponsible and biased of me to say that Robles didn't actually make contact with anyone?
I mean, I think you got to factor that in too. I also kind of wonder what his sunflower seed toss is going to factor into this as well.
Oh,
because
come on, they're packaged. They were packaged sunflower seeds. No one had to really sweep those up.
said that too in the same brawl. I'm just looking at what Passan's saying when he says lengthy, and I think anything more than maybe 10 games would be excessive.
I think so too.
I think 10 is maybe the sweet spot for this because you just simply can't throw your bat at anybody. Like, that is one of the first things that you are kind of taught in baseball is like, hey, this bat's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's like a weapon.
Just make sure you're not launching it at anybody.
Yeah.
Just keep it to yourself. That's why you wear your batting gloves that have the grip on them. That's why your bat has grip on it itself. So anything more than 10, I'm going to say that's a bit much. Now,
I don't think that's wrong to say. I think that we all like to do this moral grandstanding thing of like, it's a weapon. He could have killed someone. And it's like, okay, look, literally no one is making the case that he was right to throw his bat. I've not heard a single person say, no, it's totally safe to throw a bat. We have these fake fights sometimes with points that no one's making.
Well,
literally no one condones
everybody
violence.
tries to be more pious and more holier than thou.
That's what it is. Everyone feeling self-righteous feels so great, and everyone's trying to be so self-righteous about this when instead it could be this. There was context to this that added to Victor Robles' frustration. It is inexcusable to throw a bat, and he should be suspended. Pretending that he charged the mound with a knife in his hand is a little dramatic for what actually happened.
Gosh, and then you've got Dallas Braden, A's TV analyst, who's like, oh, you're lucky I could never throw 100 miles an hour when I played. I'd put a ball through his torso.
I'd kill him.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, dude.
Okay, Dallas.
Okay,
what have you ever done?
Much.
Throw him perfect.
Right, sure. He's got that going for him. But other than that, I just think it's such an unprecedented situation because, A, what he did is something we have hardly ever seen on a baseball field.
And it's not acceptable, literally. Everyone agrees.
Sure, yes, exactly. But also, he's a major leaguer on a minor league rehab assignment, so where does the punishment get served? Does it get served while he's on his rehab assignment and he's not allowed to be recalled until he serves his suspension and finishes his rehab?
Yeah.
Or does the punishment come down once he has concluded his rehab and is back up with the Major League Ball club?
In which case, it's like, but he didn't do this in a major league game.
Right.
That context of it is missing. There might be someone out there who says, I don't really see the difference. You still threw a bat at a pitcher. I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
You're suspending him from play in a league where this infraction didn't happen.
I get this is a complete guess, but I feel like Major League Baseball in these kinds of instances have allowed guys to rehab while suspensions are still being served. Like when Robinson Cano got popped for PEDs, he was still allowed to rehab his injury, but it also came at the end of his suspension from Major League Baseball. I don't know if it's going to be like that, where they'll allow Robles to continue to rehab his injury, kind of in lockstep with his suspension. I don't know. It's really weird, and what stinks is that when the Mariners were banking on Robles to be back, everybody kind of made it sound like he was going to be back a lot earlier than anticipated, which I think the early hope was like, September.
We were talking September. The
And
idea
now-
he could be back in August was crazy.
Which was pretty cool. And now I think if he's back before September 1st, I'll be stunned. I think this suspension is going to take him probably through the end of the month, which, I mean, luckily it's only the 19th right now. So
Yeah, I think anyone calling for suspension, first of all, PED suspensions, didn't they used to be 40 games?
PED suspensions have been
They've been all over
very
the board, but like
soft
anyone,
until recently.
yes, anyone arguing.
Yeah, it went from 10 games originally, just 10 games, to 40, and then I think now it's 80.
I feel like within 10 games or less is the realm of when you have conduct detrimental to the league that's basically just fighting, swinging at people, throwing fastballs at someone's head. Like that feels fair. Beyond that is where you get into you're getting in trouble with the law. You have domestic violence situations, or you're using prohibited substances, PEDs. I don't think this falls into those categories. So
No.
I'm having a hard time seeing why someone would be making a case for it being a suspension more in line with those very serious offenses.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at just kind of those incidences, I think those are, far more severe than what Victor Robles did. I get that, you can't, it's egregious to throw your bat.
You shouldn't even need to say it, by the way. Like, it's like we do that thing of just fighting with no one. Look, you can't throw your bat. No one should even have to preface it.
Right.
Like, no, yeah.
But ultimately, I hope that cooler heads prevail here and they don't suspend him to make an example out of everybody. He gets 30 games or whatever. That'd be ridiculous.
253 said, thank God he didn't throw a spider. Lifetime ban if that happens. Frankly, you're out of the league, buddy. All right. Coming up next, one NFL analyst ranks offenses heading into 2025. You're not going to love where he has the Seahawks.
It's the Mariners' push to the playoffs, and it's only on Seattle Sports.
He's looking up, and it is gone! He does it again! Number 47 for Cal.
Up next, Game 2 in Philly. First pitch today at 3:45. Pregame at 2:30.
Strike three, the ball game is over.
The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app, the home of the Mariners.
Everyone wants to get the best deal they can when they buy a car. What about when you want to sell your car, though? Of course, you want to get the most money possible, but how can you get the most you can without trying to sell it yourself? Stacy Ross here, and that's where my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn step in. Not only will they buy your car today, but that's just the beginning. Once they resell your old car, they send you another check for 50% of the profit of the sale of your old car. They've already given back over $800,000 to their customers. You can go to the website to see pictures of giant checks for yourself. It's such a great offer, and I know exactly what you're wondering right now. How are they able to do it? It's not a consignment because you get paid for your car right away. Wayscar Ford pays you right up front. They buy your car for fair market value. No more insurance, no more maintenance, no more storage, no more headaches. Then they pay you half the profit when they resell your car. It's just that simple. Get the most money possible for your old car at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn and let them do the work. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener on Sunday, September 7th. Open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds of winning 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener. Do it every day August 19th through August 25th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Homeowners, federal tax credits on heat pumps end soon. Home Comfort Alliance can help you save up to 75% on new in-stock heat pumps with combined discounts, utility rebates, and expiring federal tax credits on systems installed by December 31st. These are new in-stock high-efficiency models that will make your home comfortable year-round. Federal tax credits expire December 31st, so don't wait. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, it's Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people.
You gotta love baseball season, but when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rick Riz here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The Ringer's Shale Kapadia ranks the offenses 1 through 32 in the NFL. I'll tell you the top 10. Tell me if you have any disagreements. I mentioned as my tease heading into this segment that you guys are not going to like where the Seahawks land, so spoiler alert, the one you could guess, the Seahawks are not in the top 10. So I'll start with listing the top 10 from 10 to 1, and then I'll get to the Seahawks. So coming in at number 10 on his list of top offenses, a little bit of a surprise, the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe one of the worst running back situations, but he said, look, Dak Prescott makes the Cowboys a consistently above average offense. CeeDee Lamb is obviously great. He said Prescott missed 9 games last season. The Cowboys missed the playoffs, but the year before that offense was a top 10 offense, and in 2022 they were 14th. In 2021 they were 4th.
I think the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, I don't think Dak Prescott is an ascending quarterback anymore. I think he is somebody that has either plateaued or is maybe starting to be on the decline, and that's going to make things a little bit harder for Dallas's offense to do what they want to do. I like the pickup of George Pickens to help out with CeeDee Lamb, but you mentioned that run game. Like, who is going to be their leading rusher?
I genuinely don't know, and I think that Shale, who openly admits that, I love Shale, I think he's so smart, but he has them at 10 and kind of admits this is because of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb.
Right, and sure, those guys are good and could potentially, kind of find that fire again that got them to where they were a couple of years ago. But again, Dak Prescott, even when he was healthy a year ago, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in 8 games played. Like 11 touchdowns in 8 games, like that's not good enough to win in the NFL. What was it? Rico Dowdle was their leading rusher a year ago. He's not in Dallas anymore. Ezekiel Elliott, I don't think he's not back either.
I know.
It could be anybody in Dallas running the football as far as we know.
Start combining a few of these, so I'll do two at a time, and then you can chime in on either or both. Washington Commanders are number 9. He said, look, there are legitimate reasons to fade Jaden Daniels. We know quarterback development isn't linear. See CJ Stroud last year for Houston. However, it's really hard to look at what they did last year and just suddenly plummet them to the bottom of the league. Also, Terry McLaurin, assuming he plays, makes this offense always really consistent. And at 8, he has the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, Patrick Mahomes carrying a lot of the weight here, as will Andy Reid as a play caller, but saying that they need to be better at getting downfield.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since Mahomes has been that quarterback that can throw it, 60, 70 yards downfield. But also his weaponry has changed a lot over the years. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill to throw to.
I think that's more a result of the wide receiver room than it is Mahomes not being able to do it.
Kelsey hasn't been the downfield threat. Sure. And so, maybe he's not the quarterback that he used to be when he first entered the league. But, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is still a top 2 quarterback on his worst day. They do get Rashee Rice, at least for the first 4 games of the season. We don't know what his status is going to be. You get another year of Xavier Worthy. So I think there should be reason for optimism with the Chiefs offense for sure. But, I think they're definitely well within the top 10.
Eagles 7, Lions 6, Bengals 5.
I'm interested to see why Detroit is 6 when they bring back most of their skill position guys from a year ago. I get that Ben Johnson's not there anymore, and Frank Ragnow is gone, but I still think they're going to be a pretty explosive offense.
I'll add on a note that he says they had the second healthiest offense last season, so he's allowing for injury regression.
Now, how about the team he's got at number 3?
Yeah, let me go ahead.
I don't know about that.
Okay, at number 4, Packers. At number 3, the San Francisco 49ers.
I don't think the 49ers are 3rd best offense in the NFL, especially with their wide receiver question marks. Brandon Ayuk is probably going to be back, like October? That's kind of what they're aiming for, week 6, week 7. Ricky Pearsall has never been a number 1 receiver before in his career. Only has a half season of play in his NFL career. Christian McCaffrey was banged up last year. I don't see them being the 3rd best offense, even with everybody healthy. Like that to me is pretty. I think that's overrating the 49ers.
Yeah, I think so too. The 2 and 1 spots are unsurprising, though I think people flip them back and forth, but it's your 2 MVP candidates from last year. Baltimore Ravens 2, Bills 1.
Yeah, interesting to see the Bills at number 1, especially because they still have question marks at wide receiver. But Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He's going to make you a top 5 offense regardless of who is around him. I think the Ravens are going to have the best offense in the league. Lamar Jackson is such a weapon. Derrick Henry, I think, is going to run for at least 1,500 yards again. They just have everything going for them offensively. That's how I see it. But to have the Seahawks at 24th right now, it definitely leaves a lot of room for improvement.
Oh, I forgot to mention this. You didn't let me get to it. Coming in at 24, the Seattle Seahawks, Curtis.
I think for now that is actually quite a reasonable expectation. Not to say that I'm down on the Seahawks offense, but it's I think they have a lot to prove to people, especially can you prove that what we've seen so far in the preseason is true or not? You've got to be able to do this consistently week in and week out, and they only have one great preseason game to kind of hang their hat on.
Well, and I think what a lot of folks are looking at ultimately is unsurprisingly quarterback, where they go, look, for Shale, for instance, he says the Minnesota Vikings last year finished 15th in offensive efficiency with Darnold. That was with a proven head coach and play caller in Kevin O'Connell. That was with one of the league's best receivers, Justin Jefferson, and with a better offensive line than what Seattle has now. So, in other words, Shale says 15th seems like the ceiling for the Seahawks if everything goes right.
Yeah, I think this team could – I think they're one of the teams that could most likely outplay where they are on these rankings. He's got the Carolina Panthers at number 25. I think that's another team too that could outplay kind of where Shields got them, especially with the strides we saw Bryce Young take after he got benched a year ago. I think Carolina's a team that could probably play a little bit better than maybe what the expectations are of them right now. So I think the Seahawks at 24th, it will allow you to maybe feel better about their offense at the end of the season, kind of based off of where a lot of these preseason prognostications have them at.
All right, we're getting back to the Mariners with ESPN's David Schoenfield. He joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
This is one of the most spectacular venues with all kinds of character and hospitality, scenery. These people in this Kittitas Valley, they love when you come to see what they have to offer.
I'm JJ Harrison, Ellensburg Rodeo Clown, and I want to invite you to the rodeo. Come hang out with us in Ellensburg. Great rodeo, great time. 2 performances on Saturday. One is the Extreme Bulls of the Year event. Do not miss the Ellensburg Rodeo, August 29th through September 1st. We'll see you there.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Is your car road trip ready? Don't get stranded. Get to Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Bucky's has been preparing cars, trucks, and SUVs for safe, worry-free travel for over 50 years. We take care of your car with experience and good old-fashioned customer service. For all your oil changes, brakes, AC charging, and factory maintenance, choose Bucky's. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com. Bucky's, where your car feels right at home.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Now is the time. We talk about it year-round, but roofing season really is upon us. It's Mike Salk here. So what makes it roofing season? Long, dry days where roofing crews can work realistically sun up to sundown. They're cranking out projects all over our region, and Riverside Roofing is, of course, leading the charge. Local to Marysville, Riverside Roofing serves the entirety of Western Washington. They do amazing work. They've earned my recommendation, plus industry awards like GAF Master Elite's President's Club, a status fewer than 1% 10% of roofing companies in the entire country actually achieve. Get a roofing quote in less than 60 seconds using Quick Quote directly on riversideroofingllc.com. It'll pop up as soon as you go on their website. During and after your roofing job, you can expect a yard and driveway totally clean of debris. Behind their national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville, built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the local roofing company you can trust. Go to riversideroofingllc.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners fell to the Phillies in that series opener yesterday. Logan Gilbert, in his worst start of the season, gave up 9 hits and 6 earned runs through 2 innings. Carlos Vargas pitched 3 scoreless in a long relief effort, and Cole Young had a 3-run bomb in the 7th, but the Mariners lost 12-7, and frankly, it didn't feel as close as that final score. Game 2 today, the Mariners will see the return of Bryce Miller. First pitch at 3:45 p.m. Pregame show starts at 2:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Mariners and MLB with ESPN's David Schoenfield joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. David, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm in a parking lot. My dogs are in the back seat, so hopefully they'll be quiet here.
Well, we're glad to have all of you join us, frankly. So I do want to get to, obviously, some concerns from a less than stellar road trip for the Mariners. Obviously, a horrible game yesterday. But overall, David, I think that we can all look at this Mariners team and say that they have maybe the highest ceiling that this club has had in a really, really long time. So I guess I wanted to get your bird's eye view of this team before we dive into all the specifics of things that we maybe don't like as much. How are you feeling about the Mariners right now?
I was feeling a little better about a week ago, obviously before this trip. Look, there's no doubt. I think you nailed it. When they're clicking, it's the most well-rounded Mariners team in decades. No doubt about it. The offense is certainly the best since, the Griffey, A-Rod years, right, in the late 90s, the rotation. When it's on, it's really good. As I point out, I think every time I'm on the phone with you guys, they struggle on the road. That's my big concern. They don't pitch as well away from home. Bullpen's pretty good, So, yeah, they got to click. I'm a little worried about their ability to hit left-handed pitching. That's a big issue. And unfortunately, in this series, the Phillies are going to roll out 3 good left-handed starters.
Yeah, that's going to be quite the task for them over the next couple of days as they look to right the ship against Philadelphia here in Games 2 and Game 3. David, when you look at the American League right now, is there any team that you have complete faith in? Because it just feels like everything, even on August 19th, we're less than, 40 games left in the regular season. It just feels like no one has really asserted themselves as a favorite here.
Yeah, no doubt. It's wide open. And as much as the Mariners have struggled the last week, the Astros are struggling even more. Their bullpen that was so good the first half is kind of falling apart. Josh Hader might miss the rest of the regular season. The Tigers had that little 3-week spell or so where they were terrible. They look like they're back in the groove. I still think they're the most well-rounded team in the AL, even though their lineup doesn't really have like a superstar hitter. It's pretty deep, 1 to 9. Of course, they have Tarek Skubal in the rotation. The bullpen, they sort of strengthened that at the deadline. That's been a little better. But, yeah, you go through the AL teams, and they all have flaws, just like Seattle. So it's wide open, no doubt about it.
Last year, pitching was such a strength of this team. It was kind of the story of this team, and we were all hoping it would be enough to lift them into the playoffs. This year, we've seen a downturn there. And, David, I think the most fascinating thing is while a lot of these starters have spent some time on the IL this year, they've otherwise got the same guys. And so that's what's really interesting to me. And the most popular question we got talking about it earlier today is, wait, what happened? So I guess I will just throw the question your way. And, maybe it's one of pitching volatility in general, or maybe it's one of, what you see from Seattle in particular.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's the league-wide issue, right? It's hard to keep pitchers healthy and consistent year after year. There just aren't a lot of those guys in the sport right now. That's what makes what Brian Wu is doing this year so incredible with that run of 6-inning starts. That kind of makes him like a modern Cy Young in comparison to most starters today. But yeah, the injuries have certainly played a part. What we don't know, what are the sort of the after effects of the time that George Kirby and Logan Gilbert spent on the IL earlier this year? Is their stuff down a little bit compared to last year? The numbers, you'd have to dig into some of those metrics to know that. Obviously, last night, Gilbert, he just didn't have it. That was just, I think, one of those games, that happens. Luis Castillo, not a surprise. We've seen a slow decline in him from his first season with Seattle, so he's just getting older. He's got, a lot of innings on his arm, so I'm not really surprised that he's sort of continued to regress. Solid, but, not an ace like he was when he first came over. So, yeah, it's just hard to keep 4 or 5 starters good year after year in modern baseball.
David, in the last few weeks, we've seen Julio Rodriguez start to look like second-half Julio. It's that time of year again. What have you made of his last few weeks of play, really since post-All-Star game? He's kind of looking like what everybody hoped he would look like.
Yeah, look, the million-dollar question, which the Mariners have tried to solve the last couple of years, how do you get him hitting like this all year long, right? I don't think anybody has an answer. It's probably just these internal sort of non-conscious adjustments that his brain is making, that he struggles or scuffles early in the season and then it starts clicking. Look, he's still the same Julio. He's, very aggressive at the plate. He's not going to walk much. He's going to chase some pitches out of the zone. But he's hitting the ball hard. That's what you want to see. I like him spraying the ball a little more, getting some doubles. Like last year, that really bothered me. He only had like 17 doubles or something all year. This guy should be hitting 30 doubles, 30 homers a year, and it looks like he'll probably come close or get to both those categories this year. No, it's still a little frustrating. He's not quite the Julio from his first 2 years, but you add it all up, that game, the Willie game notwithstanding, he's been great in center field. He plays every day, runs the bases. He's still one of the best all-around players in baseball, even if he's not an elite hitter. But I love the production of late.
Hey, I was hoping to be able to talk about Cal, and I'm going to start by just kind of running like a weird pet peeve I've developed by you. I think Aaron Judge is going to be AL MVP. I know that he spent time on the IL. He's going to get back into the swing of things here, but he has just been putting up a historically great season, and I can understand that. I also think that when I see arguments about Cal's average my head explodes because, David, I can't stand any argument that focuses solely on why we're expecting a 300 hitter from a catcher. And like, I think that maybe within that is losing the historical significance of what Cal's doing. He's a home run away from tying Salvador Perez. He has how many stolen bases, Curtis? Like 14?
12 or something?
12.
Yeah.
He's stealing bases at a clip that he's never done before. I just feel like we're looking at some of the wrong stats sometimes when it comes to evaluating Cal's season. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agreed. I know I was looking at the AL MVP odds this morning, and Judge is now an overwhelming favorite. Look, we're a little biased here, but I think it should still be a debate for all the reasons you've mentioned. This is a catcher doing this. He's going to break the record for home runs. His on base, because he draws a lot of walks, is still high. Yeah, the average has dipped lately, but when he hits a home run, they seem to be 2 or 3 run homers, right? So he's still driving in a lot of runs. He's a good defensive catcher. He plays every day. And you have to factor in that catcher thing. And Judge, we got to factor in, we don't know when he's going to play in the field again with that shoulder injury. So you got to weigh that with Judge, that his defensive value is sort of declined because he's not playing in the field. So I get it. Judge's overall offensive numbers, the triple slash numbers are off the charts, but to me, it should absolutely be a great MVP debate. And it could be, with both those teams battling to get into the playoffs, win a wild card, win a division, whoever has the big September could end up winning the award just based on that last month.
David, Commissioner Manfred on Sunday during the Little League Classic talked about potential realignment across Major League Baseball. Where do you fall in that? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, don't touch my team being in the National League, don't touch my team being in the American League. But have we kind of maybe gone beyond that now in baseball where it's about time that we start to look at realignment?
It's a good question. I guess I would sort of call myself a traditionalist, and yeah, you would hate to break up, the American League and the National League and sort of destroy all that history. At the same time, I get it. The travel, especially for a team like the Mariners, who travel more than any other team, is pretty brutal now that you're playing every team in the majors. So I get that you would want to regionalize the sport a little more. And I think in the long run, why wouldn't you want the Yankees and the Mets in the same division, the Dodgers and the Angels, the Cubs and the White Sox? I know that goes against 100-plus years of history, but to me that just makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you want those rivals playing 13 times a year? Yeah, not every team has a natural rival. And I know, the commissioner's been getting bashed over this, but I think it's probably inevitable, and we'll complain about it for a year or two, and then we'll adjust and be like, oh, yeah, why didn't we, do this 2 decades ago?
I know you may not have an answer to this because no one does. Is there any kind of precedent we can look at for what a suspension for Victor Robles would be, having thrown his bat at an opposing pitcher in a minor league game the other day?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember past instances. I'm not sure. I would guess they haven't announced anything, right? They wouldn't. 10 games maybe. Now, I don't know if that applies to his rehab stint, or like when they say we're going to call him up, then you start the suspension, which means you'd be playing a man short. Maybe they'll factor in that he was getting hit, 5 times, whatever it was, in a couple games, although a couple of those he was kind of swinging at the pit, so I think a couple of those were sort of on him a little, but I think he'll probably get 5 to 10 games. I'm just not sure if that applies to the rehab stint or once he gets called up.
David, you look at the American League West race right now. It's down to Houston and Seattle pretty much. I mean, Texas has really kind of faded back, 6 behind the Mariners right now, 7.5 behind the Astros. Yordan Alvarez is said to be really close to returning. What would his impact be on the Mariners trying to chase down Houston AL West chase?
Yeah, it's if you look at sort of some of the key injuries in the sport, players coming back, that might be number one, because that's not a great offensive lineup, in Houston this year. Certainly not what we're used to seeing from them. But it's a hand injury. You never know, and he wasn't hitting well back in April before he kind of finally gave in and went on the IL. We all know if he's healthy and productive, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. Certainly if he does come back and hit, that could be the difference, in that division race. But I kind of look at Houston, and I thought their pitching was a little over its head in the first half, especially as I mentioned the bullpen. So we're seeing some regression in that pitching staff. Outside of Valdez and Hunter Brown, their rotation's pretty thin. The bullpen's falling back to earth. So, yeah, Alvarez will help, but even though Seattle's behind with 1.5 games, I still think the odds are that the Mariners will chase down Houston and win the division.
Oh, fingers crossed. I'm just going to end it with that answer.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Just good vibes. He is ESPN's David Schoenfield, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, David. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks a lot.
See ya. The Seahawks regular season is approaching, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to their home opener, regular season home opener on September 7th against the 49ers. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and then click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, you can download it on the App Store, or you can text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776, and we will send you a link to download. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. This contest runs through Monday, August 25th. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
All right, Stacy, first down to you. ESPN's Bill Barnwell listed his 5 teams that he thinks will decline in 2025. Which are you buying?
Let me start by naming the 5, and then I will tell you how many of them I'm buying. His 5 teams that will decline, take a step back, regress in 2025 from where they were in 2024. The Chiefs, the Colts, the Commanders, the Lions, the Vikings. I think that I'm buying 3. I think that NFC East group, Commanders and Eagles, it's going to be hard to be quite as dominant as the Eagles were last year, even though I think they're fairly another Super Bowl favorite. It will be hard for the Commanders to have the season they did last year, even though they have so much to build off of. Likewise, with the Lions and the Vikings, you have question marks at quarterback with J.J. McCarthy. You have new coordinators for the Lions. The pressure that's there for the Lions is also a big factor. Maybe the pressure that's there for the Vikings, though I think a change at quarterback is also a huge deal. But, yeah, I totally see it for all of the NFC teams, and that's important for Seattle. Obviously, you're looking at the teams that made the playoffs last year going, who might fall out? Now, if I were to guess right now, I would assume that at the very least the Commanders and Lions will be in the playoffs again this year. Would assume as much about the Vikings. We'll see, how much noise the Packers and maybe another surprise team like the Bears can make. But the Chiefs and the Colts are the interesting 2 here. I buy regression from the Chiefs in that I do not think they're going to be 15-2. Like, I absolutely buy regression when it comes to their actual...
There's only 2 options to be better than 15-2.
Their actual record, yes, I can see that. That's absolutely unprecedented for how inefficient, it felt like they were offensively sometimes. But that being said, I think they also... maybe you're getting some weapons. Whether it's a development of Worthy, whether it's having Rice out there a little bit more. Like, I think that we're watching a group that's had a not so stellar wide receiver unit be able to add to it. I know Travis Kelce's a year older, but I think that that's balanced out a little bit by adding to your wide receiver room, or seeing more development there, I should say. The Colts is an interesting one. This is not a playoff team. I think
they're just gonna be really bad.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's saying. The idea that it's like, you didn't think it could be worse? Well, hang on. Here we go. They were 8-9 in 2024 with a minus 50 point differential. You're telling me it's gonna be worse?
So they got lucky to be 8-9 last year.
Yes. So yeah, I think that the Colts are just gonna be a bad team. They could very well be worse than 8-9. Most especially if let's say Daniel Jones looks awful or gets benched and Anthony Richardson goes in there and clearly doesn't perform. And when you don't have answers at quarterback, you're not going anywhere. But I found the NFC teams to be a little more intriguing, a little more believable, and undoubtedly more relevant for Seattle.
Second down. Daniel Jeremiah on with Brock and Salk yesterday added an interesting twist to the answer about whether or not the Seahawks should acquire Trey Hendrickson. What did he say?
First, first. Here's what he said.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. It's a window thing. You know, when you look at these trades, it's all about understanding what window you're in, and I think this is a gettable division for them right now. So, yeah, I would have no problem with that. I mean, I think more so than the whatever you're going to have to give up from a pick standpoint, it's going to be the financial aspect of it that's going to cause some concern.
Here's why I found it interesting. Daniel Jeremiah in this answer is talking about the same thing we did yesterday, whether or not the Seahawks are in a window. And he's right. When you're acquiring, let's say, Micah Parsons, you don't really have to worry about being in a window because he's only 26 years old. Like, this is going to be one of your franchise edge rushers. You're one of your premier franchise players. That's who he is. When you're acquiring Trey Hendrickson, you may only get this year. You may only get this year and maybe some production next year. It's very much a window is now, strike now opportunity. Yesterday, when you and I talked about it, Curtis, you, I think, very fairly said, I don't think the Seahawks are in a Super Bowl window. I think they're many pieces removed from a Super Bowl team. I don't think this is the piece of the puzzle that gets you there and makes you very whole and complete. I do agree with you. I also think the way Daniel Jeremiah is framing this sounds a lot like the way we talk about the Mariners, and that's a fun thought experiment for me when it comes to the Seahawks. Here's what I mean. We've been saying about the Mariners all season long, if you've got a shot to make the playoffs, if you've got a shot to win the AL West, you should absolutely go for it. Oh, you need to give up Harry Ford to go get Geno Suarez? Do it. No, they didn't have to do that. The trade return was a little less than we thought it would be for Arizona. But that being said, we had been all in on when you have any opportunity to make the postseason, you simply cannot look down your nose at it. You're the Mariners. You had the longest stretch. You had 21 years. You can't look down your nose at making the playoffs. You can't look and go, I don't think we're a piece away from being a World Series team. Who cares? Who cares? Be aggressive. Go do it. We don't talk that way about the Seahawks. I think it's because we've seen elite versions of the Seahawks, because within the last 12, 13 years, we've seen this team win a Super Bowl, get to another. So we kind of know what a Super Bowl team looks and feels like, and you can tell when it's not there yet. However, I think sometimes we need to practice some equal application of pressure and maybe an equal application of desperation, for lack of a better word, when it comes to how much we want to see this team in the playoffs. Why can't the window be now?
Third down. All right, Stacy, you mentioned the Seahawks could consider a trade for Trey Hendrickson. So what's the latest on where that whole situation stands between those two sides?
All right, here is the latest from Laura Rutledge.
I spoke to Trey Hendrickson just a little while ago. He reiterated that guaranteed money is the holdup in these contract negotiations with the Bengals. They agree, he said, on the average salary. They agree on the years, but Hendrickson believes his play warrants more guaranteed money than what the Bengals want to pay, even though he turns 31 in December. Now, Hendrickson also confirmed that there has been no progress here, and he is prepared to sit out if needed. It's also worth noting that there's been no progress toward any trades either. That hasn't even gotten close. Hendrickson wanted to make it very clear, though. He said, I don't feel sorry for myself. His quote was, I'm a very blessed man, and I trust in God's plan here. He also pointed to the Bengals logo on his shirt and said, this place means a lot to me. I'm still wearing this logo proudly, and said he just wants to do the very best he can to help this defense out.
Looking for more guaranteed money, not necessarily a lot of years or a ton of money added on. And I think that should be a little easier to stomach for Bengals fans at the very least. This is not a guy looking to get paid like the best edge rusher in football. So let's stop framing the conversation that way. This is a guy who's looking to get more guaranteed money on a contract where he's not guaranteed a ton of money moving forward. And he's asking for it after putting up 17.5 sacks in 2 consecutive seasons. It's not just a career year last year. It's 17.5 in 2 years. Do I think he's going to get 17.5 this year, surpass that? No, I think that's incredibly unlikely. But I do think that he's guaranteed to be the most important part of your defense, and your defense is guaranteed to be a lot worse without him. Again, I know that I started in second down talking about, hey, the Seahawks have a case to make to trade for him, but there is no team that needs Trey Hendrickson more than the Bengals.
Fourth down. Stacy, what's the positive spin on Sheil Kapadia's low ranking of the Seahawks offense heading into 2025? Just a refresher, he's got them at number 24.
So you guys are probably thinking of the same thing I am. which is, more simply, you don't need to be the very, very best offense if your defense is elite. You don't need to be the very best offense if you're elite or really dominant elsewhere. So Shields says that, for instance, he sees the ceiling for the Seahawks offense as being 15th in offensive efficiency, and that's if everything goes well. He bases that on the Vikings being 15th last year with, in his opinion, and he's not wrong, a better offensive line, one of the league's top receivers, and obviously a great play caller with Kevin O'Connell, plus Darnold's best year as a pro. With all of that, they were 15th in offensive efficiency. You don't need to be the most efficient offense to get to the playoffs. You don't need to be the most efficient offense to even get to or win a Super Bowl as long as you're elite elsewhere. The Chiefs were not a great offense last year by any means. They got the ball downfield the least out of all offenses. They were efficient on third down, though, and they obviously have Patrick Mahomes, a great play caller, and a great defense. The Rams were not a great offense last year. They were in the bottom half in points scored, but they had that great, young, explosive defensive line with a rookie defensive player of the year. So again, if you're thriving, excelling, elite elsewhere, you can afford to have some discrepancies, or deficiencies, you can afford to be just average. So I think if the Seahawks get to just average and then have the defense we believe they could have, you're in for a pretty good season. Timeline coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Everyone wants to get the best deal they can when they buy a car. What about when you want to sell your car? Of course, you want to get the most money possible, but how do you get the most you can without trying to sell it yourself? Well, that's where my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn step in. Not only will they buy your car today, but that's just the beginning. Once they resell your old car, they send you another check for 50% of the profit of the sale of your old car. I'm serious. They've already given back over $800,000 to their customers. It's such a great offer, and I know exactly what you're thinking right now. How are they able to do it? It's not a consignment because you get paid for your car right away. Wayscar Ford pays you right up front. They buy your car for fair market value, no more insurance, no more maintenance, no more storage. Then they pay you half the profit when they resell your car. It's that simple. Get the most money possible for your old car at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn and let them do the work. That's wayscarford.com.
Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow. We're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. You gotta love baseball season, but when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rick Riz here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy. Curtis Rogerson for Michael Bumpus today. Let's get started. A's outfielder Lawrence Butler, not the actor, must not be scared of potential fines for criticizing umpires, because he had this to say.
If you were commissioner for a day, is there anything you'd look to see changed in the game?
ABS. I'm fed up with the umpires. I've had enough with the umpires. They miss too many calls both ways. They call strikes, balls, ball strikes.
Do you want like all robotic?
I want the challenge system, because like
2 challenges a game.
Yeah, 3, just like they do it in AAA. Because if you look at AAA, the umpires are a little bit more cautious of what pitches they call, because they know a pitcher or hitter might challenge it and it might embarrass them. So like they might be a little bit more cautious to pull that trigger. And I feel like up here they don't give a.
We've seen that system tried out, obviously, in the minor leagues and spring training, but at the All-Star game, when Cal Raleigh and Schoenfield, I shouldn't say notoriously, now famously, became the first challenge in any kind of major league game.
Yeah, Lawrence Butler's going to get a nice little envelope in his locker probably today.
XOXO MLB.
Yeah, being like, hey, man, you can't be saying that. You can't be saying that. But I think I'm ready for ABS. I know that Cal Raleigh and other players have talked about.
I think most catchers are going to want the ability to frame.
Exactly, which then, framing is something that they can use in arbitration to get more money out of guys and whatnot. But
and if you're a guy like Cal, you're better at framing than you are at some other things. So if your strength as a catcher is like, I'm really good at framing.
Yeah. But I respect Lawrence Butler for going there, because it was one of those like minute-long, basically like TikTok videos that a lot of people in baseball do, where they'll catch a player pregame and be like, hey man, can I just grab you for a minute, ask you some really like easy questions, like what's your favorite uniform in baseball? It is the fluffiest interview of all time usually, and you don't get that
in trouble.
You don't get in trouble. And these people don't really allow for you to give kind of spicy answers like this. So Lawrence Butler was like, I got time today.
Yeah.
All right. Like I am ready to pay whatever fine it is that Major League Baseball is going to hand me. But yeah, I'm ready for ABS. I think you're ready for it. I think most people listening are ready for it. I get that it's like, oh, the machines are taking over.
Yeah, but there's important to clarify, if you wouldn't mind, what it actually looks like, because I think people think it's going to be like this system. I should say some people, not all fans. They think it's going to be like there are no umps. It's just a system back there that measures it, and that's not necessarily what it is. It's more like you get review and you get a certain number of challenges.
Right. Umpires will be calling balls and strikes as they usually do, but the only time this ABS will be instituted is on pitches that are close, whether it's, a ball, basically anything on the edge. That is what is going to get reviewed. And there's only going to be a certain amount of times you can do it throughout a game. And it's really quick too. It's done within probably about 10 to 15 seconds of the pitch being thrown.
You know what's interesting? I feel like MLB maybe wants it. So I think the idea of maybe Butler here is pointing to like umps clearly not wanting it.
Maybe.
The union clearly not wanting it, because MLB is trying it out in spring training. Like, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried it out in spring training. They tried it on the All-Star game. I bet it's going to be in the World Baseball Classic too, coming up in 2026. Like, it's coming. It's going to be here sooner than later.
Phillies color analyst, is it Crook?
John Crook.
John Crook. Phillies color analyst John Crook had a lot to talk about when things got out of hand between Philly and the Mariners. First, he had a question he just had to ask.
So you know how I think of things when I have free time and I shouldn't?
Yep.
So I was wondering.
Yep.
The person who invented the clock.
Yeah. Which one, the digital or the hand?
The first clock ever.
Okay.
How did that person know what time it was?
That's a really good question.
I thought so.
Bouncer back toward the middle. Gobbled up by Young. One hopper. The ball was safe. There is that sundial they might have used.
Is that accurate, though?
Oh, I guess it's as accurate as it can be. So when you were contemplating the clock thing, did you come up with any answers yourself?
No. I thought I'd ask you.
I would think sundial.
Okay.
Matt's losing it back there. Matt, what's going on, buddy?
I've never heard of this man before, but he's my favorite broadcaster in the MLB.
He's a
really
question.
Funny one.
It's a good question.
It is.
What if right now it's 11:35, but what if it's not?
Well, and who determined that? Like, who said right now it is 11:35?
I don't think it's 11:35.
It could be any time you want it to be.
No, I think it might actually be like if we're going on, let's say you're looking at a sundial, that's not down to like the minute second.
Right, it's just kind of like it's a close.
We're just going on vibes. We created time on vibes.
I mean, we've been going this long with the current time. It seems to be working, right? Like I don't have any issue with it. No.
I don't know.
A lot of work days seem too long. Can we shorten those somehow?
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Later in the game, he made a special request to his broadcast partner.
0-2 to Suarez.
If I ever become a vegan, would you just punch me in the face as hard as you can?
Sarge had us
losing it again.
asked us to do something to him if something happened, but we didn't do it. So, yeah, we would do it to you.
Please do. Just take turns. You go first.
I would never do that.
Then Ben and Ruben, Larry, Scott.
Larry might do it. I would never do it, though.
Matt can't breathe.
Stock might do it, yeah.
You love this guy.
What I'm learning is that when baseball broadcasters aren't talking about baseball, I actually really like listening to them. It's great.
It was a blowout, too. So, like, whenever a game gets into a blowout scenario, baseball broadcasts kind of become like podcasts in a way, where it's like anything goes. Like, any topic can be talked about there. And I believe he said that because they had shown, like, some new sandwich in the ballpark that he really liked. And I mean, and he was given the green light to basically everybody in the production truck there. Like, yeah, come punch me in the face if I ever say no to protein, to meat. Shout out to John Crook. He's a 101.
I mean, well, right now he's 2 for 2 when it comes to comments.
He is 1 of 1. His quotes are 2 for 2.
Now, unfortunately for the Mariners, this game lent itself to those kinds of conversations. Not competitive in any way, but yeah, really good points, really good questions. And frankly, maybe you should punch him in the face if he becomes a vegan against his will. If he needs to kind of snap out of it. No offense to vegans out there. I'm sure they're offended anyways.
Yeah.
All right.
They'll let you know.
Canadians are known for their politeness, but this little leaguer couldn't wait. This little leaguer couldn't wait to disrespect Juan Soto.
Is there pictures you want to get of any players in specific?
I want to get Juan Soto.
Okay, all right. Juan Soto's a popular one. Misha, what about you? Juan Soto on your list as well?
He's kind of overrated.
Kind of overrated?
He's all right.
He's all right.
Cal Raleigh.
Okay, all right. You take an autograph from anybody there, right?
He's pretty good.
He's a little overrated. He's kind of overrated. What do you work for, WFAN?
You're a child. Learn ball, son. Respect your elders.
No, you know that he's saying that because whoever his parent is says that.
Yeah, his dad is probably Juan Soto. What does he do? He's got 30 home runs on the season. He's got an on base near 400.
Yeah, I think.
Is there pictures you want to get of any players in specific?
I want to get Juan Soto.
Okay, all right. Juan Soto's a popular one. Misha, what about you? Juan Soto on your list as well?
He's kind of overrated.
Kid. Learn ball.
Kind of overrated. I don't know about that. Last one here. PGA Tour golfer Ben Griffin had a disastrous start to his final round of the BMW Championship, and he thinks he knows the reason why.
I take creatine as a supplement. This morning I didn't take it until I basically teed off on 1, and I was at the end of my batch, and I had this basically a snowball of creatine, so it'd been in my bucket for probably a month, and I broke it up and put it in my water bottle, whatever. I'm all good. I've taken creatine on the golf course before, it's fine. But I started taking it after my second shot, and I accidentally swallowed one of the big rocks that was in my water bottle. And I've never overdosed on creatine before, but I think I did in the moment because I didn't really drink any water after that. I basically just inhaled a snowball. And so I started getting super shaky. And I've never felt like this before, and I literally felt like I had tremors.
I believe him. I appreciate him just going on a long rant about what happened. It also sounds like me when I lie about things.
He had a bad round, but also
but he overdosed on creatine.
Sure, I've never done creatine. I've had a lot of coffee in a day, and you kind of feel jittery and stuff. Is that maybe what he was feeling?
I would use
I can't
overdose
calm down.
Very not
right.
Regularly when it comes to I overdosed on coffee. I don't know about that one. Creatine, I don't know, man. You probably were real jittery.
But I get it.
I get it.
I've made I've made Nesquik before, and you get the little chunks and stuff, and it makes it all the more chocolatey. I get that.
Yeah.
We already knew you've made Nesquik before. You didn't have to tell us that.
I give off a Nesquik vibe.
You give a very
Absolutely
Nesquik vibe.
do. Probably Tang too. Hype train coming your way next.
He's the best catcher in baseball.
Pitch to Cal, swing and a drive.
And he's on Seattle Sports, Thursday afternoons all season long. It's the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
More history for Cal Raleigh.
I love being here and I love these fans in the city.
Catch every episode of the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show, presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, on the Seattle Sports YouTube page, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
Michael is in his 70s, and he was dealing with an injury.
I had tears in my rotator cuff. Just the discomfort of going about everyday life. Day-to-day things were not comfortable or almost impossible, but just being inactive was troubling.
He was in a great deal of pain.
I started trying to learn how to brush my teeth with my left hand, and you can't do it. It was ridiculous.
Searching for answers, Michael found Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, where he underwent stem cell therapy.
I played basketball Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and so I'm getting my shot back. It's not back to where it was, but hey, before I couldn't even do anything. So 100% improvement of what it was.
Wow, that's great to hear. Would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I can share without a doubt that it helped me, and I'm grateful for that.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Hey, college students, Safeway is giving you 5% off. That's right. Junior colleges, tech schools, universities, just verify your student ID in the app, unlock exclusive deals, and shop on the app or in person. Better yet, subscribe to Fresh Pass to get free delivery and other special offers. Remember, if you use EBT, Fresh Pass is 50% off and you get savings on fresh produce. For all the details, visit Safeway.com/4U. That's Safeway.com/FOR in the letter U.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
When the weather changes, your home shouldn't be the one left unprepared. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We offer the strongest solutions in roofing, siding, decking, windows, and gutters, made for the Pacific Northwest. And right now, get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months or up to $3,000 off your next project. No gimmicks, no stress, just reliability you can count on. Visit stateroofing.com or call 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule your free estimate today.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need. Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener on Sunday, September 7th. Open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds of winning 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener. Do it every day August 19th through August 25th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The hotel is open and you can book now at snocasino.com. The destination spa, the expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the big 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yeah, the new restaurants, food venues as well. Effortless style and the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com to book. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Don't miss the action at T-Mobile Park during the stretch run. The Mariners are pushing for the postseason and have a great slate of marquee interleague matchups on deck, including the Padres August 25th to 27th and Cardinals September 8th to 10th. Plus, be here as Cal and the crew take on Ohtani and the defending World Series champion Dodgers for the final series of the regular season, September 26th to 28th. It's time to seize the moment and pack the park. Lock in your seats today at mariners.com. Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right. We are getting back to the Seahawks coming up at noon, talking about whether they're doing enough to make themselves playoff contenders. Sticking with the NFL through most of that hour, and then from 1 to 2, it's all Mariners. So think of it, lots of Seahawks talk, get your bases covered. Lots of Mariners talk starting at 1 with Shannon Drayer. Right now, let's go to the station for Hype Train. First one in. Starting with the Mariners here. Bryce Miller making his, I shouldn't say debut, his third debut of the season. Coming back from his second IL
Michael Jordan's
stint.
third comeback.
It's his third comeback. Goes through 6.
boy, he's going to have to be crazy efficient, I think, to get through 6 innings today. That would mean probably only throwing like 65, 70 pitches. I don't see it. I think if he can get through 4 or 5, that's going to be a success today. Just ease him back in. His long-term health is kind of the most important thing right now. I would be most encouraged if the velocity stayed high all throughout. Maybe not so much the innings pitched total today, but the velocity I think is going to be what I'll be looking for the closest with him. So I'm not boarding this train. I will hope and pray that he does get through 6 because that would mean really good things for the Mariners, but I just don't see it based off of what his pitch count will probably be.
Matt, I'm assuming you don't want to play today with us.
I can if you want me to.
Sure.
But,
Does Bryce Miller go through 6 today?
I think he absolutely does. Because, unlike Curtis, I don't hate Bryce Miller. I actually think he's great.
Good point.
And I mean,
Name
Curtis
3
hates him,
Bryce
but
Miller
whatever.
songs.
Ooh. You can't.
Rocky Mountain
You
High.
can't. You can't do it. I think it's harder to name an album than a song. Like when I think of the artists and stuff that I really like, I can think of lots of songs that I recommend, and then they'd be like, what album is that from?
Couldn't tell you.
Let me think about it for a minute.
Don't say that in front of Bob Stelton. Bob will judge you so
He'll
hard.
judge
He
me
judges
for
all of us
everything.
hard.
Yeah.
He
for
judges
everything.
me.
Yeah.
We're getting judged all the time for everything we say.
Especially on knowledge of music. Like, I'll be the first to admit I don't know anything about music, and he'll still just be,
Yeah, very judgmental.
How do you not know Band X
And
from
it's like,
1984?
Well, I wasn't alive.
Yeah.
I was not alive in the 80s. Can I tell you a pet peeve of mine also? Now I'm getting away from Bob. Bob is not a pet peeve. But a pet peeve of mine is when people look at sports and think it in any way equates to actual IQ. Like, there are brilliant people that know nothing about sports.
Well, it's like on Jeopardy when they get to the sports category, none of them know anything.
Exactly.
Because they've all been spending time studying actual things.
I can't tell you how many times I've
Physics
seen someone say,
science.
like, I don't know, maybe it's a girl. Mostly it's just wrapped up as sexism, but it's a girl saying she doesn't know a certain thing, and someone will be like, what is she, an idiot? And you're like, well, I don't know. Maybe she's a lawyer.
She's got more important
Who's just
things
not
to
a
worry
Rams
about.
fan. I don't know what to tell you. I'm moving on. No, I don't think he goes through 6. I think it would be really great, but I think there's a reason that Wilson was careful with his bullpen usage yesterday. Hey, speaking of, that's our next hype train. Wilson was right to not pull Legamina.
I see the vision of why they kept him in, because you want to keep that bullpen fresh heading into games 2 and 3 of this series, especially with today being Bryce Miller's turn in the rotation, and he's probably not going to get you very deep into the ball game. On the other hand, I am pretty much done watching Casey Legamina pitch for this Mariners team. I don't need to see him out there anymore. It just kind of feels like when he is out there, the game is about to get out of hand. I think he should be someone they consider clearing roster spot when September 1st gets here, because he just doesn't have it right now. So I will say Dan Wilson, though, was right not to pull Legamina. I'll board that train, but just disappointed that he was even in there in the first place.
Yeah. I'm going to also board the train. I was not as angry as some other people were. I've been critical of bullpen decisions before, pinch hitting decisions before, sometimes an over-reliance, not just from Wilson, but on handedness when it comes to certain matchups, substitutions that you're making. But I don't know, man. This game fell out of hand. It felt worse than 12-7. I know that was not the score at the time. At the time, you're looking at a 3-run game. At the time, you're thinking, why not put those guys out there? But early on, you were thinking they've lost this game. They are not in this game. And I hate punting on a game. I hate a quitter mentality. But I think this was more of a cautious mentality than a quitter mentality. And it just didn't end up bouncing your way. Next up. With the emergence of Torrey Horton in training camp and in the preseason, a lot of fans are wondering what it means for Marquez Valdez-Scantling. MVS is a Seahawk in week 1.
I'm boarding that train, and I'm doing so because Clint Kubiak loves himself some guys with familiarity with his offense, and no receiver is more familiar with what Kubiak wants to do than MVS, who was with him last year in New Orleans. and had a pretty good season for the Saints. I get that he's a veteran and probably is not somebody that they're going to invest in long-term here in Seattle. Like, I could probably see MVS being maybe a one-year Seahawk. I don't know if he's going to be back next year. Just kind of, that's how it is with a lot of veterans in the NFL. But I think just to make sure that the young guys are taken care of a little bit better, guys like Torrey Horton, it's good to have a veteran in the room like Cooper Kupp. JSN's there. I think MVS would really kind of round things out. So I think he is a Seahawk in 2025, or at least a Seahawk to start the year in 2025. So I'm boarding that train. I think so, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sticking to it.
Brian Nemhauser this morning on with Brock and Salk was talking about how he can absolutely see a world where a spot is in jeopardy. And I think that right now is a really common take on the team that I have a hard time like really disagreeing with, but I'm tending to lean more towards a cautious kind of Bob Condotta-esque approach with this one. We're like, well, he's here for a reason. And sometimes teams are far more conservative in their decision making than fans would be. And you stick with the thing you know, and importantly, the player that knows you, and MVS does know Clint. So interesting battle to watch, though, as we round out into the final preseason game here this weekend. I can't believe it's already here.
It's almost September.
Hey, speaking of the start of the regular season just around the corner, are the Seahawks doing enough to make themselves playoff contenders? That's next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Hey homeowners, John Curley here. Why not improve your home's comfort and efficiency now? Plus, save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
I just saw 2 houses for sale. Same neighborhood, almost identical, but one had an Orchard sign and it sold for way more. So I asked my friends at Orchard, why? The first house used a traditional agent. After weeks of price drops and frustration, they settled for less than they'd hoped for. The second homeowner chose Orchard and got more. Their local Orchard agent didn't just list a home, they marketed it. They knew exactly which upgrades would attract serious buyers and brought in a pro to handle everything. And even more, with Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, the homeowner moved into their new home before their old one even hit the market. They skipped all the hassles and showings. Never settle for less. Get more with Orchard, the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to buy your new home, even before your old home sells. Start with Orchard's free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license, unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may know the speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a month in bill credits plus $5 to line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Colts are naming former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones as their Week 1 starter over Anthony Richardson, bringing an end to a summer quarterback battle. Head coach Shane Steichen said of the move, quote, "I think the guys have taken to him. He's a great communicator with the guys. You can see that veteran presence out there, so I'm excited for that." Steichen added that he's not going to have a short leash when it comes to Jones.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Are the Seahawks doing enough to make themselves playoff contenders? Curtis, I thought that we would use this as a bit of a thought experiment stemming from our second down earlier today in 4-down territory. So Daniel Jeremiah was on with Brock and Salk this morning, and he was asked whether or not he thinks the Seahawks should acquire Trey Hendrickson. This is what he said.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. It's a window thing. You know, when you look at these trades, it's all about understanding what window you're in, and I think this is a gettable division for them right now. So yeah, I would have no problem with that. I mean, I think more so than the whatever you're going to have to give up from a pick standpoint, it's going to be the financial aspect of it that's going to cause some concern.
It's the only.
So this is not him saying, yes, absolutely, they need to. They're one piece away, and he makes them a Super Bowl team. What this is Daniel Jeremiah saying, the decision about whether or not you acquire an older edge rusher like Trey Hendrickson needs to be based on whether or not you're in a window. Maybe the Seahawks are. This is a winnable division. And so, Curtis, I thought that what we could do here, and we're opening it up to the text line, 866-979-3776, is talk about whether the Seahawks are in a window and whether or not they're being as aggressive as they possibly could with that window.
I think they are somewhat in a window, but it is barely cracked open.
What's keeping you from saying there's more there to seize?
I think just the development of the first and second and third year guys, I think they need to kind of get a little more seasoning underneath themselves. And I talked about it yesterday too, just kind of a little more solid plan at quarterback instead of, I mean, you've kind of now are in this like year by year thing where You had Geno Smith for 3 seasons. You've got Sam Darnold this year, and who knows what the quarterback situation is going to be like in Week 18 of this season. You did draft Jalen Milroe, but there's just no real solid, clear-cut answer right now at quarterback. So I think there are definitely pieces in place, guys who you can see a core developing of, like, this guy will be here when the Seahawks are back to being among the NFC contenders. Like guys like JSN, Devin Witherspoon, like those are legit building blocks, depending on, how these big names get moved across the NFL. Like right now you've got Derek Hall and Boye Mafe, you've got Byron Murphy, Ernest Jones is under contract. Like there's legitimately good things happening with this roster. And I think overall the direction of the organization is pointed up when after the 2021 season, when things kind of bottomed out, and bottoming out here in Seattle is that 7-10 season. It felt after 2021, things were on kind of a gradual decline. 22, things maybe started to point up a little bit, especially with how good that draft class was and the kind of play they got out of Geno Smith. So it kind of feels like almost kind of doing a U-shape right now. Like they're kind of on that verge of going back up. I don't know necessarily how up it's pointed, and the play of Sam Darnold will kind of dictate how that goes this year, because if he's worse than what Geno Smith was, or worse than what Geno Smith is going to be here in 2025, maybe that kind of changes things too.
Can I give you another thought experiment question? Yeah. Again, I want to keep the bigger one of, well, how big is the window the Seahawks are competing in? Is it just now starting? Should they be more aggressive? Should we be talking about them going for it the way we've been talking about the Mariners this year? Do we have a different expectation for what winning looks like when it comes to the Seahawks? I don't want to veer too much away from that conversation, because I think all of it's really interesting to me, and it's why I really like that cut from Daniel Jeremiah, even though it was something he just kind of said like off the cuff and wasn't the main part. If the Seahawks were to use the number 1 overall pick of the draft this past year and they took Cam Ward, would you say they're in a Super Bowl window?
I would say it definitely ramps up their efforts, and I think they're definitely looking to put more talent around a young quarterback like that.
The reason I ask is because I'm trying to figure out how much of our hesitancy about saying the Seahawks can and should compete for a Super Bowl is just about Sam Darnold.
I think it's a lot about Sam Darnold. I think it's maybe more so than anybody else on the roster, simply because he hasn't shown himself to be that kind of quarterback yet in his career, and he's, 28 years old now. I think what this roster would look like with one of those rookie quarterbacks in the class of 2024, with like Michael Penix and all those guys, I think having a young quarterback like that on his rookie deal kind of amplifies or just magnifies, I guess, that opportunity for winning a championship, because there is no bigger head start in the NFL than having a talented quarterback on a rookie deal. You don't have that here in Seattle. You do have a quarterback that's not making top of the market money, and you've had that now for 3 or 4 seasons, even though Geno got a significant payday compared to what he was making his first year as a starter here in Seattle, and what Sam Darnold has made, throughout the course of his career. He's making $38 million this season, which is a huge payday for him compared to what he has been in his career. But again, those aren't top of the market deals, and you should, be able to spend a little bit more freely when you're not paying a quarterback $55, $60, $65 million. But even with what Geno made and what Darnold's making, that's more than what, the best rookie quarterback is going to make. To me, when it comes down to with the Seahawks, are they doing enough to make themselves playoff contenders? I think they are doing enough to kind of stay relevant, which avoids going into the tank completely. But also, I think they're doing a good job of maybe learning from past mistakes of investing in the wrong players. Guys who are super talented, and guys who have all-pro careers, and guys who have been tremendous players at different points of their career. Obviously, talking about Percy Harvin and Jimmy Graham and Jamal Adams, the 3 biggest trades the Seahawks have ever made under John Schneider.
Right, specifically made to get this team to a Super Bowl.
Right, and 3 biggest trades in terms of what they gave up to get those guys. Not necessarily 3 biggest in terms of impact here in Seattle, because I would say Marshawn Lynch, probably the biggest trade that John Schneider's ever made. But those 3 guys at the time, you looked at it and was like, oh my gosh, they're acquiring this all-pro. You're acquiring this guy that runs a 4.3 40. In Jamal Adams' case, you're acquiring a guy who was like 25 years old, entering the prime of his career. You thought it was going to be a move that would put this team kind of over the top. Jimmy Graham at the time was, if he wasn't the best tight end in football, he was the second best tight end in football. Him and Gronk were putting up some ridiculous numbers.
No one hated the Graham trade when it was made.
Right, exactly. It was one of those trades where it was like they missed out on the Super Bowl. Oh, by the way, they just went out and acquired one of the best offensive weapons in football. Everything about the Graham trade that didn't work out was, a lot of it was out of Jimmy Graham's control, especially the injury.
And out of something that benefited only from hindsight. You didn't know that Unger would be what he ended up being.
Yeah.
You also didn't know that for the next 10 years, you'd struggle to build up an offensive line.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're thinking, okay, we're giving up a first rounder, but we'd never get someone as talented as Graham. And we're giving up Unger, who hasn't been able to stay totally healthy. And we don't look at him as like this franchise centerpiece.
Yeah. I think Justin Britt's the only center in the Seahawks have had since then that has started.
To be a Pro Bowl alternate.
Or, yeah, I think he's the only center that's started multiple opening days since then.
That's
I think
crazy.
everybody else has been like a one and done here in Seattle. But you learn from those mistakes, and you don't want to invest in the wrong guys. You don't want to invest in players that, if you do give up a first-round pick or multiple first-round picks in Jamal Adams' instance, like, you don't want to have those kinds of trades blow up in your face. And when it comes to Trey Hendrickson, who I think is like the most available player right now that has a Pro Bowl pedigree, that has an All-Pro pedigree, he kind of falls in that camp of like Jimmy Graham, Jamal Adams, and Percy Harvin, where it's like, yes, this is a really talented player, but would I consider this guy to be like an absolute franchise game changer? I don't see it as that with Trey Hendrickson.
17 and a half sacks?
I still don't see it with Trey Hendrickson. He's, 31 years old. I think he is
Who else on
great
that
at what he
defense
does.
is taking attention away to help him out? I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Right. I think it's at the point in his career, though, where he is 31 years old, that he's not going to have many more opportunities to produce at that kind of level.
Sure.
You're looking at maybe 2-3 years max of potentially getting 17 and a half sacks. And who's to say he even gets that number here?
Do you get that number with Boye Mafe?
No.
Do you get it with Derek Hall?
You don't.
Do you get it with Uchenna?
You know who you get it with? Micah Parsons. That is a guy who I would trade for. That is a guy who I 100%
but that's not the conversation
trade.
we're having.
It is. Are the Seahawks doing enough to make themselves playoff contenders?
So you
Trading for
think-
Micah Parsons would absolutely do that.
Would you give up a first rounder,
Yes.
multiple first rounders?
Yes.
You give up 2 first rounders?
Yes, I
would. You
would.
give up 2 first rounders and like a third or a second?
I would give up 2 first rounders and like Derek Hall for him. Yeah, I would. He is that good. He is 24 years old and has double-digit sack seasons every year he has played in the NFL. It's not just 2 years of production like Trey Hendrickson. It's 4, and he's 24 years old, and he is next in line to be the best defensive player in football. Like the throne that Aaron Donald abdicated after he retired, like, it's going to go to Micah Parsons. Like, that's how important he is to just how the NFL is right now. Like, he is so ridiculously good.
Why
And I
wouldn't
get
the
that his
Seahawks
person,
make that trade right now?
I don't know why they haven't made that trade. I don't know why. But you make that trade, and all of a sudden, you look at this team in a much different light. You look at this season in a much different light. That is one trade that I would definitely make if I were John Schneider and if I were Mike McDonald. And could you imagine Mike McDonald getting his hands on a difference-making pass rusher like that? Somebody, who I think is much more multifaceted than Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Because I think Hendrickson is great at getting to the quarterback, but is he a great run stuffer? Is he somebody that's going to generate turnovers? Like, Micah Parsons is a weapon in a way that very few players are in today's game.
Yeah, I think that the Trey Hendrickson thought experiment that I like about this is that it makes us question if acquiring Trey Hendrickson is about competing in the next 1 or 2 years for a Super Bowl. Why can't we think of the Seahawks as competing in the next 1 or 2 years for a Super Bowl? Like, why can't we think of them as doing that? So I like that as a thought experiment. I agree with you in that the move that I'd most like to see them make is one of acquiring Micah Parsons. Not only would I love to see them make that move, I'm not finding a lot of arguments against it.
Right.
You're not getting Micah Parsons with a first-round pick.
Well, the arguments against it are the ones that are non-football reasons. It's like his personality. How would he fit with DeMarcus Lawrence?
That's actually my mistake. I totally forgot that every member of the Legion of Boom was like this really super boring person that got along great and that like never argued about anything. Really
how many
bland.
of them talk to Earl Thomas these days?
I call them.
Do any of them talk to Earl Thomas?
Not a single one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you think that you would get a star player on defense and he'd be vanilla?
Right.
He'd be boring. He'd be bland.
It's just
he'd
the
be Mike
territory
Trout
of
tweeting out
being
airplane emojis when they're flying somewhere.
It's just the territory of being a superstar in the NFL. Micah Parsons.
When you're an
in
alpha,
4
you've got
years.
an alpha personality.
Exactly. Parsons in 4 years. He's 26 years old, by the way. Just turned 26 in May. 26, 4 seasons in the league, 4 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pro selections. Also was Defensive Rookie of the Year. He even received Defensive Player of the Year votes last season in a season in which he only played 13 games.
I feel like it's bringing me back to the other question we examined in 4 Down Territory, which is, hey, if the ceiling of this offense is that they can be like average, 15th best offense, is that good enough? If your defense is elite, yeah, I think it can be.
Yeah,
and
I think
last year's Eagles, and for that matter, last year's Super Bowl is not the best example of this because the Eagles were an incredibly well-rounded team with a very good offense, with a very good defense. And while they were flawed and while they had some problems, they were otherwise very deep, a very talented roster, very complete. So it's not the best example of saying, hey, you don't need to have the most efficient offense. But you don't. You do not.
Yeah.
And I sometimes think that when we're making comparisons of what does a Super Bowl winning team look like, when we're very honest about what Super Bowl winners have looked like for the last 15, 20 years, well, a lot of them are Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So the argument very quickly falls flat when you start looking at like any kind of recipe to win a Super Bowl. The single most important piece, the like chicken to the chicken soup, is having a franchise quarterback. Yeah. Is it possible to get there without that guy? Is it possible to win without that guy?
Sure.
Sure. So long as you don't have that guy, you need to do everything else you possibly can.
Right. And the Eagles were successful in doing that. They were able to make their roster as well-rounded as possible without Jalen Hurts is a really good quarterback. Would I put him as a top 5 quarterback? Probably not.
I wouldn't know.
I'd say he's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I can say for sure no. And I think he's incredibly talented and handsome.
Very handsome.
His face is so symmetrical. It's stupid.
But like the Eagles knew what they had at quarterback, and they were like, okay, we know Jalen Hurts can do a lot of things well. Is he elite? No. But what we're going to do is we're going to get elite everywhere else in every position group possible. Running back, they went out and signed the best one in football in Saquon Barkley. Wide receiver, they drafted Devontae Smith and traded for A.J. Brown. Yeah.
Constantly adding to the trenches.
Defensive line. Heck, this year in the draft, they got Jihad Campbell at pick 32 in the first round. In the secondary, they added Cooper DeJean and Mitchell, who was fantastic last year.
Quinyon
Mitchell, yeah. So, like, they have everything going for themselves in every other position group. And I mean, even quarterback, too. So, like, that's what it's going to take to knock off the Chiefs. That's what it's going to take to knock off the very best quarterbacks in the league when you don't have one of the 3 or 4 that could win you a Super Bowl just rolling out of bed. And the Seahawks don't have that, but you're going to need to put yourself on that path.
I just think we need to constantly balance both thoughtful planning and roster construction, which is not my expertise. That's John Schneider's expertise, not my expertise. I know that that's a reality where sometimes you're building up a group. Sometimes you do have a 3, 4, 5, 6-year plan or a 2-year plan or whatever it is. We need to balance that with also a very humble view of winning Super Bowls. The acknowledgement that you can by no means expect it to be your turn. One of the things that really irked me about I didn't mind the Mariners and Jerry Dipoto being like, hey, we're going to tear this down, we're going to rebuild, we're going to do whatever. Great, fantastic. I was 100% behind it. one thing that I didn't love over the course of that conversation. Love the talk of building up the farm. Love the talk of, keeping pieces that you want to draft and develop, finding your core. Loved that their identity was going to be pitching in a pitcher-friendly park. I love all of it. I wanted them to be more aggressive in free agency, and also I didn't love the angle of eventually the Astros would fall off. I hated that take.
Right, because the Astros want to win just as much as you.
So entitled. It was so entitled. The idea, so preposterous. The idea that you can count on someone else. Your ascension surely will correspond with this other team's descension. That's not how it really works.
Stacy, sometimes Chiefs will fall off eventually.
Sometimes you get fortunate enough and it works. Do you think you would laugh in the face of Pete Carroll, God love him, and the Raiders front office if you heard from them? Well, the Chiefs have won for so many years. Eventually, exactly your point.
You got to go out and get
Eventually, you got to go. No, they'll never stop. They will never stop.
So long as those pieces are in place, they are going to continue to try and build a championship roster.
Consider that as being hubris we don't like. And I'm not saying that DePoto was championing that take. I'm saying this became kind of a conversation we were all having that was irksome to me. Consider how much we hate that take, and then apply the same logic to the Seahawks. Well, now hang on a minute. You can look at your team as hey, we're building this up. We do want to build up a Super Bowl team. It's going to take some time. You got to develop these young guys. All of that's fundamentally true. But at no point can or should you expect that your time will come.
Sure.
Sometimes you need to pry open your window. Sometimes you need to see a door cracking open and kick it down. Sometimes you do need to be aggressive in a time that doesn't perfectly make sense yet because it's a little early, but it's just what you need to do. Maybe it's Hendrickson. Maybe it's Parsons. Maybe it's not a trade at all, but it's drafting a quarterback earlier than you thought you would. Whatever it is, you can by no means look at it and go, well, this is our blueprint for when we're going to compete to a Super Bowl in 2029. This is exactly what it looks like. You don't know that.
Right.
You don't know. What if the 49ers turn things around? What if a team out of nowhere? What if the Bears become a powerhouse? You have no idea. You aren't in other war rooms.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen or break for other teams. You have no idea who's going to emerge and be the next superstar to come out of the third or fourth round out of nowhere.
Well, and every year there's a team that outperforms expectations beyond all measures. There's going to be a team that we're thinking of as a 5-win team that's probably going to win 12 games this year. That's how it goes every year in the NFL. You mentioned kind of measuring other teams' windows, Stacy, and that's why I think the next couple of years are going to be of the utmost importance for the Seahawks to really put their foot on the gas pedal because, Matthew Stafford beyond this season, can anybody guarantee that he's going to be serviceable this year?
No, he's going to be 47 next year.
Right. He's going to be in a wheelchair. But he just now started practicing. Is he going to be able to make it through 18 games? And then is he going to be able to do it again next year and the year after that and the year after that? That remains to be seen. The 49ers are kind of nearing the end of what this run is as guys continue to get older, like Trent Williams and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey and whatnot. They do have Brock Purdy in place, but how are they going to be able to build out that roster around him? The Cardinals are kind of a wild card in the division in that, they're improving, yes, but Kyler Murray seems to be one of those guys that maybe doesn't elevate your ceiling so much. There is going to be opportunity here for the Seahawks to take advantage of. So within the next couple of years, get that quarterback situation figured out, and then also go out and start looking at superstars to add. And when a superstar like Micah Parsons is available, it's very rare in the NFL that ever happens. So I would imagine 31 teams in the league are definitely looking at this Cowboys situation. And we've got some sound coming up from Adam Schefter basically saying he doesn't think that the relationship can be repaired. So if that's the case, then everybody's got to be in on this because it's going to be quite the frenzy if Parsons does become available.
I take it you are in on acquiring Micah, out on acquiring Hendrickson, but not because you don't think the Super Bowl window could be now if things break right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Look, Trey Hendrickson is a really good player, a great player even. But I just don't think his timeline matches the Seahawks timeline. Where I think he is looking for an opportunity to win a Super Bowl now. And I look at what the Seahawks are and where they're at in their sort of build. Not I don't even know if it's still a rebuild. I don't even know if they ever underwent a rebuild, but I just think that Trey Hendrickson's probably looking to win a Super Bowl within the next couple of seasons, and with where the Seahawks are, they still got a little bit more work to do.
I do agree with you, and it's fundamentally, like you said, because I look at Sam Darnold and just don't have positive answers that I feel great about. That being said, I do think that we need to raise the bar. The Seahawks the Seahawks are competitive. The Seahawks themselves look at themselves and want to be great. This is about how we're talking about it. I think just collectively, we can't simultaneously say they should win more than 10 games and make the playoffs, and also they're building. No, like, you're going right now.
Right.
You should expect that Devin Witherspoon continue to develop. You should expect fairly that your offensive line improve. You should expect that your run game be really good if that's who you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, you should have these expectations, be disappointed when they aren't met, and be elated when they are. But, like, I feel like sometimes we're like of two thoughts here. And I say we as a royal we. I know that some of you aren't. Some of you are all in on, like, Super Bowls happening this year. But I think we get, like, of two minds when it comes to the Seahawks, where we allow a lot of room for, like, they're growing, they're learning, they're figuring it out. And then also aren't honest about, like, they missed the playoffs by a fifth tiebreaker. Were they the best team in the NFC? Absolutely not. Were they better than the Rams last year? I don't think so.
No.
But eventually they got to prop that window back open. You can't sit and wait for it and just think, like, oh, we'll draft and develop our way there. You got to pry it.
You got to be.
And according to Curtis, that means you trade for Micah.
Exactly.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners take on the Phillies pregame at 2:30 p.m. First pitch at 3:45 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Looking around the NFL next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. We've been fortunate to work with over 4,000 local people and help them hit some pretty amazing weight loss goals. I'm joined by two of them right now, Mike Salk and Ryan Rowland-Smith. Mike, you were able to lose about a pound per day for over a month, 35 pounds in total.
Well, as much as I'd love to take all the credit, really, I was just following the plan. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic made it super easy, and there really was no part I struggled with. I was eating delicious, fresh food, all while losing weight. The accountability from your team was great. It just helped me keep the focus. I felt catered to the entire way, and I think Ryan really had a similar experience.
No doubt about it. I just finished up the program, and I can't believe how well it worked. I wish I would have started sooner. Talk about motivation. Salk, thanks for the recommendation.
No surgery, no exercise, no packaged meals, no drugs or injections. Just delicious food and a plan that works. Schedule a free 15-minute consultation today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Granger who does the same. Granger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC-branded pain relievers. Aleve helps you keep moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose, so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, college students, Safeway is giving you 5% off. That's right. Junior colleges, tech schools, universities, just verify your student ID in the app. Unlock exclusive deals and shop on the app or in person. Better yet, subscribe to Fresh Pass to get free delivery and other special offers. Remember, if you use EBT, Fresh Pass is 50% off and you get savings on fresh produce. For all the details, visit Safeway.com/4U. That's Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U.
Are you finding it hard to stay cool in your home during hot weather? The issue is likely your window's poor quality and lack of heat deflecting technology. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and come with high-performance Sun Matrix glass, which can help keep the summer heat out. Combined with our Leak Armor installation, your comfort will be secured for a lifetime. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I know we're looking around the NFL, as you can tell by the background music, but I do have some quick Mariners roster moves to go over. This breaking just seconds ago. A couple things. I'm going to run through all 5. Bryce Miller reinstated from 15-day IL. He's getting the start tonight. We already knew that. Soren Lau selected from AAA Tacoma. Jackson Kowar and Casey Legumina have been optioned to AAA Tacoma. And then Trent Thornton transferred to 60-day IL. So again, nothing new there with Miller and Thornton. The real roster move of note being Legumina and Kowar optioned to AAA Tacoma, and then Lau called up.
Yeah, based off of Legumina pitching as much as he did yesterday, I think Lau is brought up as just a healthy bullpen arm to have going into tonight's game and maybe over the course of the rest of this series. Thornton transferring to the 60-day IL opens up a 40-man roster spot, so potentially you could add something there. But yeah, I think we all knew Bryce Miller was getting reinstated today. Lau in place of Kowar and Legumina. I'm surprised Saucedo stuck around because that kind of felt like, he's been scuffling and has been in AAA most of this season, but Saucedo's sticking up with the Mariners roster, an extra lefty. But yeah, Casey Legumina They heard us earlier. They heard me earlier.
That's what they did. I promise this is the last time I will talk about Trey Hendrickson today, but it is newsworthy. It's another update. This is from Diana Rossini this time around. Last time was Laura Rutledge. So this is from Diana Rossini on what the Bengals' asking price would be for Trey Hendrickson.
From what I understand, it's pretty much consistently been the same, which is they're not only looking for a future first-round pick, but they're also looking for a young defensive player.
What position?
That doesn't have to be a pass rusher. Lots of teams have checked in.
Okay.
For a while. Some teams that I spoke to yesterday, just circling back to see if maybe it was getting out there because something was heating up. Most of them are just saying the same thing, which is it's just going to cost them too much because of the timing of where we are on the calendar.
That's a good point.
Right? Because not only you're going to have to give up this draft capital, but you're going to have to pay them. So you're going to have to do a whole new contract, and most teams have spent a lot of their money.
I find it very on brand that the Bengals are so cheap with their own players, but that their price tag when they're asking for what those players are worth is so high. We don't think these players are worth paying them, but we'll demand that you think they're worth more than we do.
Right, and the trouble that they had signing their first-round pick this year in Shamar Stewart, like it got to a point where there was rumors that he was going to go back to school for another year. Like, you're going to do that to yourself with 2 first-round picks in the coming draft? Like, yeah, sure, shoot for the moon if you're the Bengals, but I don't know of any team that would be so desperate to give up a first-round pick for Trey Hendrickson right now. Maybe a second and a player, but, like, that just seems like them, like you said.
Yeah, being cheap. You know what's so funny? I've said it before, and I'm so sorry to repeat it, but I'll say it again. If the Colts had Trey Hendrickson, and they weren't going to compete this year, Daniel Jones is going to be their starter. People think they're like looking at a number 1, 2, 3 overall pick, and Trey Hendrickson was on their roster. You'd be like, you know who should trade for Trey Hendrickson? Hear me out. The Bengals. The Bengals have a Super Bowl caliber offense. They just paid all these guys. They're in a Super Bowl window, but they need a pass rusher. They should give up a first rounder and like some random dude and get Trey Hendrickson. This is the argument that I'd be making. What are you doing? Next up. Is it safe to assume Matthew Stafford will be ready for week 1 now that he's back at Rams practice? Sean McVay says right now it's just too soon to know.
I think that would be putting the cart way before the horse. I thought he did a good job today, and, we had 26 plays of team, and he did a really nice job of managing the huddle. I thought he saw the field well. I thought he went where the ball should go and looked good, but I don't really have any updates. I think there was a lot of intended information, but there's no updates. We're going to keep it a day and really a week at a time, but it's great to be able to see him out there today, and, we'll see how this afternoon goes and tomorrow.
You think he'll be ready week 1?
I think so. I don't know what his workload is going to be in week 1, but I think if you're the Rams, you just kind of got to gut it out with Matthew Stafford. You made you made such a big deal about bringing him back this season when it looked like things weren't maybe going to be so rosy between the two sides. You made a big deal about keeping him in town, and when you do that, I don't think you're looking to cut bait so soon on him. So I think Matthew Stafford will be ready by week 1.
Now, I will say this. 3 of the Rams' first 4 opponents are from the AFC South. They opened the season.
Landing.
Yeah, they opened the season with the Houston Texans. Then you've got the Tennessee Titans in week 2. I think they're home and then on the road.
Yes.
So home road. Then you're taking on the Eagles in week 3. Really, really tough. Not going to be easy. And then in week 4, you've got the Colts. There's a world where
Jimmy G's a very capable back.
That's what I'm saying. There's a world where if you're the Rams, you're going, do we need to rush Stafford back? I mean, yeah, it'll really hurt not to have Stafford against the Eagles. The Texans' defense is really, really good. They were one of the best defenses last year. I don't think they're going to be as horrible offensively. I think there was real regression, and now you can kind of expect to step forward. They've made such a concentrated effort to improving there. But overall, again, 3 of your first 4 opponents are AFC South teams.
Boy.
Arguably one of the 2 worst divisions in
Some
football.
teams have all the luck. Well, and gosh, you look at the 49ers schedule too this year. That's the one thing. Like the Seahawks have I think a pretty easy schedule as well.
Yeah, I agree.
But The problem is when you're playing the AFC South, the rest of your division is also playing the AFC South. And when you're playing the NFC South, the rest of your division is also playing them. So just because the Seahawks have an easy schedule, it doesn't mean the Rams don't. Like, everybody's got a pretty easy schedule this year.
Would you rest him for the first 2 weeks, considering you got the Texans and the Titans?
Man, yes. I think those are, worst case scenario, I think you go 1-1 in those games. I don't think they go 0-2 even with Jimmy G as their quarterback. Houston is going to be a tough one because, I mean, they've made the playoffs the last 2 years. C.J. Stroud entering year 3. But that Tennessee game, I think, is winnable for the Rams, but I still think Stafford's out there for that.
You mentioned earlier you'd like to see this team trade for Micah Parsons. Can things be repaired between the Cowboys and their star edge rusher? Adam Schefter doesn't sound too hopeful.
I just think that, Dallas always has drama. Jerry loves the drama. He likes to create the drama. And there's going to be drama with this now and going forward. For all I know, the two sides decide to sit down at the bargaining table and they hammer out a deal that makes Micah the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Could that happen? Yes. There's zero indication, that that's going to happen, that there's going to be a reverse. And it sounds like at some point in time, whether that's now, after the season, after 2 seasons, it sounds like the two sides are headed towards a divorce at some time.
Is Micah a Cowboy in week 1?
I mean, if Adam Schefter's saying it's looking bad for those chances of them kind of rekindling things, then you got to think it's pretty bad because no one's more plugged in than him. He might be a Cowboy. He might be holding out, though, in week 1. I don't know if a trade's going to get done between those two sides within the next, 3 weeks?
You have until trade deadline's usually around Halloween.
Yeah, so you've got a while, but I think Parsons could be on the move. If Schefter is talking in those absolutes, saying like it looks like it's headed for a divorce, then yeah, I think Parsons could imagine fumbling that if you're the Cowboys.
I've spent most of the summer assuming that this is just drama. It's the same thing that with CeeDee Lamb. It's the same thing that happened with Dak. There's going to be a whole conversation of, are they going to do it? Are they going to extend him? Are they going to sign this contract? And then they'll make him the highest paid player.
Well, and it's, in terms of like Cowboys breakups too, like Parsons might be, it's a notch below like Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Like that is the ultimate Cowboys breakup. But also in all these instances,
there's a common denominator.
It's Jerry Jones, and it's him being like, you are not more important than me in this situation. It's like, I don't know, Jerry, you're not going to win a Super Bowl without Micah Parsons.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Coming your way next.
It's the Mariners' push to the playoffs, and it's only on Seattle Sports.
He's looking up, and it is gone! He does it again! Number 47 for Cal.
Up next, Game 2 in Philly. First pitch today at 3:45. Pregame at 2:30.
Strike 3 and the ball game is over.
The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app, the home of the Mariners.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacygg.com.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The hotel is open and you can book now at snocasino.com. The destination spa, the expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the big 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yeah, the new restaurants, food venues as well. Effortless style and the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com to book. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer forever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. An hour early today because it's the dugout from 1 to 2, all Mariners. Shannon is going to be joining us in less than 15 minutes. She tweeted from the clubhouse, spoke briefly with Dom Canzone, whose wrist was wrapped. He was off to take some swings, said the wrist felt stiff. Granted, yesterday, Dom Canzone, x-rays on his arm were negative, so there's no fracture, no broken bone, but I don't know, Curtis, I was kind of concerned here and it was wrapped. But maybe I'm dumb. Maybe players do that no matter what, just when you're dealing with any kind of soreness, stiffness, just to keep it protected.
Ice it, something
stable.
like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't like that. I don't like that. Do you suddenly just turn to Rayleigh?
Dylan Moore's in right field today, but I would hope that Luke Rayleigh
the
gets
timing
more
of
at
Robles'
bats.
suspension could not
I
be
know.
more inconvenient.
Gosh.
All right. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. True scenario, says the 808. A wealthy uncle has offered our family a first-class luxury hotel trip with VIP service at Disneyland or coach in an average but good room in Tahiti. Which would you take? Can I take a wealthy uncle? Can he pay for me to go to trips?
Just anywhere?
Yeah.
It depends on kind of who is coming with you, what's being offered. If you have kids, that luxury hotel with VIP service at Disneyland is going
That's the way to go.
Incredible.
If you don't have kids, I'm going to Tahiti.
Well, I think the VIP service, too, allows you to kind of skip lines as well. So you're not even going to have to worry about hour-long wait times to get into certain rides. But if it's like you and your spouse or you and or just yourself, maybe you go to Tahiti. Like, I don't mind flying coach. It gets you to where you want to go.
Me? Oh, me?
I've only ever flown coach. I've never flown first class.
I've never flown first class either.
Yeah.
I'm going to Tahiti on this one. But I've never been tempted by Disneyland, and I don't have kids. It's not an intriguing destination for me.
Their
I think we made your
hotels,
choice.
we stayed. So, my grandma, she's passed away over a decade ago, but when she was still with us, she would take us on like Disneyland trips every few years. And we got to stay, I think it's the Grand Californian Hotel, which is one of the like on-property hotels. And like, yeah,
I've never been to Disneyland.
It was everything you could want it to be. I've been to both Disneyland and Disney World.
We didn't travel a lot when I was a kid. And I think that carries over into adulthood where now I don't. I need to like learn to value traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Isaac and Everett says, question about text etiquette. Is 4 hours too long to wait for an answer after texting your boy a question? I hit up my buddy to see if he wants to join our league. He can't answer after 4 hours? 5 hours now. I think that's actually perfectly acceptable.
Maybe he's working.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm getting a phone call right now. It's from a spam number. I'm not answering because I'm working.
If you text me something that requires a long answer or a thought or an email at 10, I am not answering until like 3.
Yeah. I just don't have the time to answer a lot of texts and emails as the show's going on.
Now,
I don't think your friend's a radio host, but
Isaac, if you're waiting to see like, hey, I need to get a response from this person, I do think it's fair if you're waiting on someone else, because this isn't like a life or death thing. This is just trying to see if he wants to be in the league. If you've got someone else texting someone and we're trying to get it to an even number, whoever responds first, I would just follow up with like, hey, just so you know, whoever responds first gets it. I have to let you know, like you need to respond right now or you might not get this.
Yeah.
Then I think it's perfectly appropriate.
If it's day of draft, then sure.
Can you imagine the day of the draft? You want to join this league? Sure. God, my league has 14 people in it right now. I'm never going to win.
808 says it's a family trip, so I imagine that means spouse and kids coming along. Can the family enjoy Tahiti? Buddy, I've never been to Tahiti.
Yeah.
I will say the flight from Hawaii to Tahiti probably a lot quicker than it would be if it were here on the mainland.
Texter, I will let you know, 808, that the bulk of the rest of the listeners on the text line are telling you to go Disneyland.
Yeah.
Someone said my in-laws taking the family for a week was over $10,000. Disney for sure.
I can
It's an
believe
expensive
that.
trip.
A single day pass for like one person, it's about $150.
Yeah. What I need to know, would you rather be trapped in a room with spiders or scorpions?
Spiders.
Yeah, unfortunately spiders, but I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, 100% spiders. Because scorpions have the pinchers. They can bite. They can sting you too. They're attacking from all angles.
706. Would you rather see the Mariners make a World Series appearance or see Cal Raleigh break Barry Bonds' home run record?
Mariners World Series appearance.
Okay, so this person says, keep in mind, I can't name the last 5 World Series winners, but everyone knows Barry Bonds' record.
You would remember when the Mariners won the World Series. You would never forget that.
Your overall point about we remember historical things as opposed to, Curtis is a weirdo who remembers every World Series team and also winner. You're not wrong when it comes to like Cal's Wikipedia page is going to have like holds the home run record. That's cool. I can promise you Cal Raleigh would say World Series.
Yes, absolutely.
Cal Raleigh would give up 20 home runs to get to a World Series.
For sure.
866-979-3776. Let's see what I need to know. Are you pro regional, or excuse me, like a restructure expansion in MLB?
Yes, 1,000%. It's high time for the Mariners to have a normal travel schedule where what they've had for the duration of their existence has been just ridiculous. And I mentioned it yesterday. Them being in the same division as Houston, the team geographically furthest away from Houston is insane.
But I don't think if you were to ask me right now, what's the furthest place from Seattle, I'd go like Florida, Maine. You know what I mean? I'm immediately going to the East Coast.
Right. Well, it's just from Houston.
Yeah.
So geographically furthest away from Seattle is Miami.
Yeah.
That's a long. I've done that flight. It's almost 6 hours.
I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want anything to do with that flight. Someone said I'm pro expansion, but Houston will always be the rival. I will say that. I am all for the Mariners sharing a division with the Rockies. I will also still look at the Mariners and celebrate every time they beat the Astros.
Oh, that's for
good.
life.
It feels great. I celebrate when other teams beat the Astros, for that matter. All right, we're going all Mariners from 1 to 2. Let's ask for the latest from Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. She joins us next.
I might be in love with Clint Kubiak.
Oh.
Brock and Salk.
I did not think I was going to say this at any point, let alone after a second preseason game.
It was just the orchestration of it all, too, wasn't it? It was a symphony of destruction.
I got multiple highlights here that start with Steve Rabel saying,
I-backs behind Drew.
I-backs. And that's not one word. That's not like I-B-A-X or anything like that. Or like, what are those animals, the ibex?
I-backs.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
When your outside matches how you feel on the inside, that's kindness. And so I think that is the one thing that the Lee Johnson Auto family encourages us, is to be like really authentic and really be intentional in how we treat our customers and how we treat each other.
To have a good company, have a good culture, have a good crew that takes care of your customer base, you have to take care of your crew. You can't have miserable people and expect them to give a customer a good experience.
Walking in here, meeting some of the employees already before I was even hired on, welcoming me in, gave me a good indication what this company was all about. So if I were to make an hour and a half drive here and to have fun here for 8 to 9 hours a day versus if it's the other way around, then I'll take it.
It's not a script. It's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies.
And you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Summer is here, and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors, expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy-efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates, and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-475-1818. That's 800-475-1818.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys. And I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Breaking news from Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times. Victor Robles has received a 10-game suspension from Major League Baseball. He's expected to appeal the decision in hopes of having it reduced. Divish adds that any suspension must be served at the MLB level, meaning Robles will miss games once he's reinstated from the injured list. More on this in 30 seconds.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout, every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy. Inside access to the clubhouse from Shannon Drayer on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
All right, Shannon's going to join us in about 15 minutes. As a heads up, we chatted with her a bit earlier about some things that are standing out from this road trip. Instead, what we're going to do now, since we won't have a chance to talk to Shannon about it, is talk about Victor Robles' suspension. Breaking just moments ago, Seattle Times reporter Ryan Divish with this one. Victor Robles has been issued a 10-game suspension from Major League Baseball. I'm just going to read it in full. Quote, he's expected to appeal the decision in hopes of having it reduced. Any suspension must be served at the MLB level, meaning Robles will miss games once he's reinstated from the injured list. Curtis, you mentioned earlier today that anything more than a 10-game suspension would feel a little egregious for Victor Robles and what he did, and I agree with you. How does 10 games feel?
It feels, I feel like this is a reasonable amount for what he did on the field the other day. Yeah, anything beyond 10, that would seem a bit excessive in my book. I think this is the right move by Major League Baseball. The most interesting thing about this from Divish's report is that any suspension must be served at the MLB level, meaning he will miss games once he's reinstated from the injured list. So if you're the Mariners, do you even let Victor Robles continue to rehab, or do you just say, hey, we're going to activate you so that we can get you here as soon as possible?
Didn't you say there's a roster spot open earlier when we talked about those roster moves?
I think so, but I believe because they had Soren Lau.
So they called up Soren Lau.
Yeah.
They optioned Casey Legumina and
Soren Lau was
Kowar.
selected from AAA, so I believe that took the place of Trent Thornton on the 40-man. So obviously there's going to be some more roster movement with Robles returning because he is the third of those three guys that we'd been talking about last week with Miller, Raley, and now Robles. But him being forced to serve this suspension at the major league level rather than at the minor league level, that changes things in a big way because, well, if you just kept him in the minors, you just have him serve a suspension and then you don't miss out on anything with him once he's with the big league club. But now this will impact the Mariners and what they choose to do. If I'm Jerry DiPoto, if I'm in charge of what goes on the field, I'm activating Robles by the end of this sentence and then hope that you can get him 10 days from now, which would be August 29th. But Robles is also appealing, so maybe that suspension gets reduced a little bit too.
So, again, Victor Robles has received a 10-game suspension from Major League Baseball, that being reported by Seattle Times' Ryan Divish. It has not been confirmed by Major League Baseball or the Mariners yet. We have our eyes out for some other reports, and we'll try to get a hold of Shannon Drayer as well. She will join us from an earlier interview coming up in 15 with some really good takeaways on this road trip, a look ahead to the rest of the series against the Phillies. So you do want to take a listen to that analysis because we're going to dive into conversations about this Mariners team once we move on from Robles. Curtis?
This also from Ryan Divish. He says, confirmed by Major League Baseball sources, the Mariners would have to play a man down on their roster while Robles serves his suspension.
This is the man. Trying to stick it to the Mariners.
You would have 25 guys on your roster rather than 26.
God.
I wonder if maybe you try to get him activated on September 1st then, because that's when rosters expand. And if you expand by, 2 or 3, then you're not necessarily hurting yourself so much. But, yeah, this complicates matters. This complicates matters in a big way.
It complicates matters. It's also borderline for me. I think 10 games is, sure, it's fair, fine. It's also mostly unprecedented. We haven't really seen anything quite like it. We've seen people charge the mound. We've seen people throw their helmets. We've seen pitchers get suspended for throwing at guys. Someone threw Andrew McCutchen earlier this year and got a 3-game suspension. Throwing a bat is obviously different. It's more serious. There is context to it that does not excuse it by any means, but I was thinking, is the league going to treat this like it would, in my opinion, something that is more egregious or more serious? In my opinion, getting popped for PEDs is something that would make sense for a lengthier suspension. In my opinion, domestic violence makes sense for a lengthier suspension, right? Like there are certain things where, in my opinion, that makes sense and that feels fair. I didn't know whether the league would try to adjudicate this as though it was something like that, to which if you're a fan that doesn't care about the Mariners, hates the Mariners, you're thinking, yeah, it's a deadly weapon. That should be the case. But man, I saw this as like, this is stupid. It's, don't do it. It's
Right.
not okay. It is inexcusable.
A lapse in judgment.
We also don't need to make it into something it's not. We don't need to frame this as like a violent person who tried to kill someone. Like, I think that's irresponsible, actually. So we don't even need to start having these conversations about condoning that. He knows it's wrong. Everyone knows it's wrong. We can move on. 10 games is right at that limit where any more than that, and I would have thought this feels like the league trying to set a new precedent when there isn't really one to uphold. The Mariners working their way back from this, you were looking at Luke Raley being out there. Dom Canzone, keep in mind, another thing to consider. Got away.
Could really use Victor Robles if Dom Canzone's going to miss any time.
Shannon Drayer tweeting that Dom Canzone currently has a wrap on his wrist. Yesterday, Adam Judah, the Seattle Times, said that Dom Canzone had x-rays that were negative. So no x-ray, no broken bone, no fracture for that wrist, but it is wrapped up. And you saw the lineup earlier. He's not in the lineup today.
Not in the lineup today. Yeah, we'll take a look at the lineup, I believe. Let's see here. It looks like this. Randy Arozarena batting leadoff, Cal at DH, Julio in center, Gino at third, Naylor at first, Garver catching, Polanco at second, JP at short, Dylan Moore in right field. So no Dom Canzone tonight, no Cole Young tonight. They're facing lefty Christopher Sanchez, who's really, really good. Again, you have a Garver and Moore pairing in the lineup today. You got to be able to get those first 5 bats going because runs are going to be a little bit tougher to come by once you get to the bottom of the order today.
425, what are the chances they don't activate him at all and push it back until next year because they can't afford to lose the roster spot?
Maybe, but also you would then, once his rehab is up, then you would have to option him to AAA. And I don't think he has any more options left, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they kind of have no choice.
Yeah. And he signed a major league deal. It's kind of like Leody Taveras. Remember him from earlier this season? Another guy out of minor league options that they had to DFA, and he made it through waivers. So he joined Tacoma after that. But yeah, I think at some point you're going to be forced to activate Victor Robles just because he's a major league player.
I think the league is trying to send a message with this, and I get it. It's kind of like if you just did something bad and you know that it's wrong and you understand the punishment. I also think that I've been kind of like hitting pause on making it a bigger thing than it needs to be. Everyone knows it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to act like MLB is swift with justice,
right?
For something that is a cardinal sin. Like,
never again shall you throw your bat. It's like, yeah, we all know that.
Please not get ahead of ourselves here. Yeah. And I think mostly I'm curious about. And again, Aaron Goldsmith is going to join us at 1:30, so we'll be able to ask Aaron questions specifically about roster construction, some decisions the Mariners are going to have to make. So if you've got some of those questions about Victor Robles, and I know many of you do, as you should, at 1:30, we're going to be able to ask Aaron.
I want to know, does Joey Estes, a guy who hit Robles 3 out of those 5 pitches, face any sort of punishment? Because that seems excessive. And I get maybe some of those were pitches that got away from him, but Estes also hit Robles last year, too. When the Mariners were down in Oakland to play the A's. So, like, what's Joey Estes' punishment?
I don't think he's going to get punishment.
Which is, Robles got beaten 5 times in 4 games.
I'm so glad John Boy did the video breakdown. And there were comments on it of people going, oh, at first I thought this was stupid, but now I see why he's upset.
Yeah.
Again, no one's excusing it.
Right.
Please don't make that
Did you see
logical or illogical jump.
My favorite part of the sequence of the John Boy breakdown was when Robles is in the back corner of the batter's box, not even getting near the plate because he did not want to get hit. He was just like, I'm done with this. I'm over this. I don't need to be in the minor leagues anymore. I'm a major league player and I don't need to be hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, respect to him for just putting it out there like that and basically telling the umpire, like, you seeing what I'm seeing? Like, I've been hit, 4 times to this point in the series?
I think it's a nuanced conversation. And I think we all collectively as people can be really quick to want to jump on like a moral high ground and point to someone else and say, I'm better than you and this is what you don't understand. I think that 100% of people think it's not okay to throw a baseball bat at someone.
That's something we don't need reminders of.
And it is okay to also think, you know what, I think Victor Robles probably feels pretty stupid in hindsight and regrets that decision a lot. I think a suspension is fair. I think more than 10 games would actually be unfair, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if it happens again, then you can, I don't know, quintuple the suspension for all I care. Like, he should have learned a lesson.
Right. If there's a repeat offense of this,
if he throws a bat again, ban him for a year. I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
then throw the book at him.
Yeah, the entire point is that you should never do that. You should know never to do it again. And then I think we just end it. And I think it's very fair from that point to, instead of figuring out who's a bad person and who's not, go, all right, well, let's talk about what you do with this roster. Let's talk about some of the decisions the Mariners have to make. Let's talk about, do you play a man down? Will he successfully appeal this? That's another big question coming from this. Again, Ryan Divish reporting that Victor Robles, is expected to appeal the decision in hopes of having it reduced. And maybe it will be. So you can still play while you're appealing, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay. God, it's almost like if you appeal it and it isn't successful, you've wasted time.
Normally, under appeal, these suspensions get reduced by a game or two.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely do they remain the same length that the original punishment was.
So here's the deal. We spoke with Shannon we spoke with Shannon before this news broke, but it's okay because we're asking Shannon a lot about what we've seen on the road trip. Our primary question for Shannon is about why pitching feels different this year, what she's seen on the road versus at home from these pitchers. And those are questions we very much have about this team, and they're very, very important questions. She's going to answer those for us. And then coming up at 1:30, we've got some questions about how Victor Robles' suspension is impacting this roster and the front office decisions. Again, that's Aaron Goldsmith at 1:30. This is The Dugout. Don't go anywhere.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Did you hear?
A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
All right, Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joined us a little bit earlier to talk about this road trip nightmare, but also we talked about some silver linings, good things to take from it. We had really big questions about the road and home splits when it comes to starting pitching. So we're going to hear from Shannon coming back at 1:30. We've got more questions about Victor Robles. Here's the interview with Shannon. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. This is the Dugout, all Mariners 1-2. And I wish I was starting with a better story, but let's dive in, Shannon. Curtis earlier in the show was pointing out the splits, the differences between road and home performances, specifically for the pitchers. And Shannon, I can look at park factors. If I'm going to look at it for hitting, I can look at it for pitching. But what things are at play when you see splits like that for George and Logan?
Well, I think they have something that has been in common. They have both missed significant time this year, and I think that does play part of. Now, their splits, this is not unusual. The splits look like this last year, too, not as extreme as far as ERA goes and whatnot, but they certainly were better at home than they were on the road. So I do think that some of, when you look at the numbers and they're a little bit more alarming, like when you see 5s and 6s, I do think some of that, when you're looking at the entirety of the split, is they were coming back from injury. There were adjustments that were being made. But, yes, they have been different on the road. Although I would say with Logan, and that's going to be very inflated with what happened yesterday, I think that he has had a tougher time in coming back from the injury. I think George, you can take a look at what happened in Williamsport, and the first thing you can say was it was in Williamsport. That was something very different for him. But I do think that these are things that they can overcome. I think that George has I think he has essentially returned to who he was. I think the Williamsport start was out of the norm. I don't expect to see that the next time out. He's doing things a little bit differently this year, and there are some adjustments that he's making, and I think there are some adjustments that teams are making to him as well. I think they're figuring out, oh, this is what he's doing right now, and so it's a back and forth. We hear about the hitters all the time having to adjust to the pitchers. Well, now you're looking at the pitchers with the hitters adjusting back to them. So I think that a little bit of that is going on with George. So as far as the home and the road goes, yes, it has been there for most of the staff, but I do think that the extremes have a lot more to do with where those two pitchers have been for the entirety of the year, and that has been coming back from injury. And again, I think George is there essentially, and I think Logan's still searching.
Shannon, another guy coming back from injury is tonight's starter, Bryce Miller. What's the plan for him? Is he going to be on a kind of a leash? What are we going to be expecting to see from him tonight?
I think it's going to be whatever he can give them. And I think that could be just about anything. The goal was to get him to 85 pitches in his third start, and they couldn't quite get there because he was too efficient. But he, 5 2/3 innings, that's a full go physically. We've heard about the stuff ticking up. And I don't think that there is any reason to believe why, if everything feels good without him, if he is cruising, I don't see why he couldn't go 6 tonight. And, perhaps pitch a 7th if something crazy happens, if he is, feeling that good. The most important thing to me in talking with Bryce over the last couple of weeks and while he has been going through his rehab starts is this is different. And I was as pessimistic as anybody that he was going to be able to come back from the last stop and start. and restart. And just too much was going wrong. Too much didn't feel right. I thought that we were going to be looking at a situation where he was probably going to go out there and it would be okay. And then it just, there's that elbow popping up again, and it's a problem. But they have found some answers with that. And he has had some additional treatment in that time. And for the first time, he really feels that elbow is not a factor. And I think that's huge. And I think, not just huge for keeping him out on the field, but keeping him feeling confident while he is pitching. Again, he's dealing with a bone spur. It's irritation. And they just were not able to knock it out the first time or even the second time. But the third time, they went to something a little bit different, and it is feeling much better. And I think there's a lot of optimism that this will be fine throughout the rest of the season.
I felt pretty bad about the offense. I shouldn't say bad about the offense, but I wasn't happy with the offense, and it felt like a fair story to critique them coming out of that Orioles game. The Orioles then go on to take 2 or 3 against Houston, just beat Boston, so maybe their pitching suddenly is good. Like, I can, in hindsight, add some context to series losses to both Baltimore and the Mets, but I still want to see such a high ceiling for an offense that, particularly following the trade deadline, people were so excited about. Shannon, what are you still waiting to see with this group? Is there, on top of that, anything to take from this road trip that's been pretty awful so far where you go, well, I did at least appreciate this?
I think it's too soon to know because they are a new group, but I looked at some numbers today and I looked at what they've been doing on the road. And the good news is your guys who have had the best road trip are Julio and Cal, and they're back to, Julio is prime second half.
Yeah.
Julio in this road trip, Cal all of a sudden looks more like Cal, and it's not just the home runs. He's hitting for average again, which we haven't seen for the better part of 2 months, so that's great. Mitch Garver has been, his numbers have been there on this trip when he has been in, and he's been in a lot more. And then Dom Canzone, who's almost kind of been Mr. Consistency ever since he returned, which is fantastic. And then you look at the ones who have been struggling, and your bottom 4 are Cole Young, who's on the edge there. He hasn't hit for average. His WRC plus has been okay. But the guys who haven't done much on this trip are guys who did things on the homestand. And we're talking Polanco, Rosarena, and Naylor. And so I think that when you look at this lineup, I think at any time you can afford to have 2 of them scuffling, but it's an even split right now, 50-50. And so you need a couple of bats to wake up. Obviously Suarez has not kicked into gear as of yet. That will help too. But I think that you are, despite the wins that you have right now with Cal and Julio, which are huge, at this time of the year in particular, they're going to need a little bit more help from the rest of the lineup.
Shannon, Luke Raley got activated during the Mets series, but we didn't get to see him taken at bat until yesterday, and he just came in as a pinch hitter. Anything to look for with that situation? Why hasn't he been in the lineup? I know they've been playing lefties, but it just kind of seems odd to have him be activated a few days ago and only now play him yesterday.
Yeah, I asked Dan Wilson about that on the pregame show yesterday and really didn't get much of an answer other than that we will find ways to put him in. And I think that as I talk about, you've got the struggles in the lineup. There's a balance between, well, if they're struggling, we got to put somebody else in. And if they're struggling, we need to get them out there so they can get out of the struggle. I think that probably has a little bit of something to do with it. And I just think, and this is unfortunate, but you do have 3 lefties in a row. And as much as we hear the talk about perhaps playing him a little bit more against righties, perhaps trying to find out and see if there is a little bit of improvement there or lightning in a bottle, it just doesn't happen. So I think that it appears that they are primarily looking at him as a left-handed hitter, and that opportunity has not been there as much since he has come off of the IL. I think it's going to be tough to get him opportunities. And the other side of that is he's somebody that needs that bat. I'm a little bit sorry that he didn't have a longer rehab assignment and have, the chance to get some consistent at-bats out there and then perhaps bring him in, play him a little bit more, but at least he would feel a little bit more secure and have a little bit more feel for it in that, okay, I've got this going and, I'm where I want to be right now, where I need to be. And it's something that has been a struggle, I think, for Dan Wilson to find the place and the time to get him into the lineup.
Looking at the bullpen here and kind of going back to Curtis's earlier question about, how deep Bryce Miller could go into this game. Carlos Vargas pitched you 3 innings yesterday in long relief, so that's great. I know people weren't happy about Legumina, but he at least got you some more time. What's the bullpen situation today? Is there kind of, I don't want to say a magic number, but ideally Bryce can get you through, in a perfect world, through 7. That'd be great. He's not going to. So is there an area where he gets to where it becomes a little easier for Dan? And then what's your bullpen usage looking like today?
Well, I think it should be pretty good. Your leverage arms, and I'm talking about Andres Munoz, Matt Brash, Gabe Spire, and Eduardo Bazardo, they all haven't pitched since Friday. So I think for the next 2 days, you could easily go back-to-back with them, and that's a significant amount of pen and a significant amount of the good part and the leverage part of the pen. So I would expect to see them in both games if this game today and tomorrow are in reach.
She is Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Follow her for the latest on X.com at Shannon Drayer. And, of course, read her articles at seattlesports.com and the Seattle Sports app. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
All right, big news with Victor Robles' 10-game suspension. We got a lot of questions about decisions the Mariners are going to have to make. Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Victor Robles has received a 10-game suspension from Major League Baseball. That news reported from Seattle Times' Ryan Divish. We've seen a few updates about what the Mariners roster decisions could be, bringing on Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Aaron, I was so looking forward to talking about pitching splits and, what can we take from a tough road road trip. And we will get to some of those questions, but we obviously have to start with Victor Robles. What now for the Mariners? What's next?
Yeah, well, it sounds like, as I've just kind of seen some of these early reports like you guys have, it sounds like they are appealing. He can continue to rehab while it's under appeal. They're hoping to shorten that suspension from 10 games to anything less. The one thing that I'm unclear about, and maybe it's come out in the few moments since I stopped or last looked, is whether or not the Mariners will have to play a man down. Remember during the brawl, when the brawl happened with the Angels, if memory serves right, the Mariners had to play a man short when those players served their suspension. I don't know if that's the case for the Mariners. That's my next question, but it sounds like we're all kind of learning a little bit at a time on this thing.
Aaron, what's the punishment in your house if somebody's throwing a bat?
I have started scolding my children with farmer's carries up the staircase is what I've done.
Tough.
Yeah, so 10-pound dumbbell each hand. It's exactly what I use, and it's just it's an endless march up and down the stairs until I say it's enough.
I love it.
We've maxed out right now at 2 sets of 6 minutes with a 60-second break in between.
I love it.
The grip goes first, Curtis, as I know you can relate to.
Definitely. A more serious question, I guess, though. Bryce Miller returning from the IL tonight. What's your anticipation level for his return on the mound?
Well, it's pretty wild to think that the Mariners' rotation, or maybe I should say projected opening day rotation, is all together and healthy for the first time this year. Isn't that wild?
Wow, you're right.
I don't know why I thought it would have been at least one other time, but I guess Kirby started so late.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been at least one guy down, and I guess the glass half full look at that is if somebody had told you anytime in spring training that the Mariners would be without 3 of their starting pitchers until August and multiple pitchers down at one time, would you think that the Mariners would be a game and a half outside of first place? Probably not, right? Based on how much the rotation last year in particular carried the team. So the Mariners are in a really good position given the injuries to the bedrock, the backbone of this organization. But for Kirby, right, all we want to see tonight is, can he let it loose? Can he air it out? And can he throw strikes? I mean, those are the real main things. His pitch count has been built up, it seems like, on his 3 rehab starts. But is he pain-free? Can he throw hard? I'm not looking for 98, but can he sit in the mid-90s like we're used to seeing Bryce Miller? And can he command the ball? Because that's something that he did so masterfully last year, which was lacking this year. It just was so uncharacteristic for Bryce Miller.
Curtis and I have talked about some of what we saw last year that might be affecting this year. For instance, Curtis, you've mentioned, well, Kirby has always had contact. It's just that he's been so great with other things. Or you thought, like, well, maybe Logan's chasing strikeouts and the, pitch count's going up. Like, we've kind of had different theories we've mulled over. This might be a dumb question. I just genuinely don't know the answer, Aaron. Has there been, in your opinion, a kind of adjustment by the rest of the league to anything? Because it's not like these were all rookies. It's not like they were coming out in the league adjusted. But is anything you're seeing in terms of pitching regression or pitching not being as elite something other teams are just doing much better?
No, it's not a dumb question. I think everybody's kind of scratched their heads at time this year. You know, for Kirby, you had him coming off the injured list, him trying to work back into kind of regular season form. And then until his last start the other night in Williamsport, we had really seen a decent stretch of George Kirby being like every bit of George Kirby. I mean, just the dominant stuff that we're used to seeing. I would like to think that his last start was the outlier from the last, call it, month and change from George. Probably more than a month. I guess that's what the change part is. For Gilbert, I don't know. And I talked with Logan for probably 20 minutes in Anaheim. At this point, it was roughly a month ago. And we just kind of kicked this thing around. And I played devil's advocate with him quite a bit because he's a nerd and he loves to talk pitching. And what I kind of pressed him on was, hey, even before he was injured, he still didn't pitch deep into games, with the outlier being opening day, right? He was ton of strikeout, ton of swing and miss, not a lot of innings. And I don't know. I buy the swing and miss stuff only so much. I mean, like Tarek Skubal's got great swing and miss stuff. He strikes out 200. Like, he pitches into the sixth, right? I mean, like, Logan Gilbert is not the first pitcher the game has ever seen with vicious swing and miss. And some of the other guys were able to go 6 innings. And for Logan, he had great swing and miss stuff last year. It wasn't like alien form like it is this year, but it was really good. And he got 200 innings and had a 200-inning, 200 strikeout season, right? He was like one of 6 pitchers in franchise history to ever do that. So he did it last year. The one thing that he said that did stick with me is that he doesn't really have a put-it-in-play kind of pitch. And that's one thing. He doesn't have a two-seamer. He doesn't have like that kind of like automatic, let me get some weak contact off the barrel and a ground ball to JP kind of pitch. Now, that can happen, but it doesn't seem like maybe it's as intentional with his repertoire as it might be from Brian Woo's two-seamer or Castillo's two-seamer, just to throw out a couple of examples. So, I don't know. Maybe this is a one-year kind of anomaly for Logan Gilbert. I say all this 2 starts ago. He pitched into the 7th in Baltimore, right? So, it's not like it hasn't happened, but it certainly has not happened at the rate that we're used to seeing, not just last year, but I think it's safe to say even years before that from Logan.
Aaron Julio has looked like August Julio. His OPS is up near 1,000 right now. What has it been like getting to see him do what he normally does here in the second half and just be that catalyst at the top of the Mariners lineup?
I guess you just set your calendar to it, right? This is just something that is just going to – I mean, maybe this is just Julio. I mean, there's mass panic and chaos every year in Seattle in April and in May and in June, and I get it because Julio doesn't look right. And this year was just a lot of ground balls to third. Nothing in the air. Nothing pulled in the air. And now that's happening all the time. And even the opposite field stuff is just hit on a line. And he very well – it's wild. He very well could end this year with his second career 30-30 season. The stolen bases might be kind of tough. I think he needs, call it maybe 7 to get there. But he certainly can. And the home runs seem like that's doable. He's at 24 home runs. But even if he falls just short, right, he's going to flirt with the 30-30 season. And there's not a team in baseball who wouldn't take a near 30-30 center fielder who's of Gold Glove quality and who's a great base runner, obviously. I mean, I don't know. He backloads his seasons. Maybe one day that'll change. But at the same time, this is still a great player who, when it all comes out of the wash, more years than not, far more years than not, especially at his position, he's one of the game's very best. And maybe this is just the cycle that he goes through every year.
Hey, what are you seeing from Gino Suarez? Because I was thinking while you were answering, not only that I agreed with Curtis that Julio's just been on a tear, and it's been really great to see. But I was also happy to see, as bad as this road trip has been, Cal have just a hotter trip in general, and kind of start to dig his way out of that slump. I think we're all still waiting on Gino, who in that one game when everyone did something against the Mets, had a moment. But what are you seeing from him?
It's been a tough welcome back for Gino overall. The strikeouts have been pretty extreme. I mean, he's striking out well over 30% of the time, which is well above league average, as you might imagine. And the average is low and the on-base is low because he doesn't walk a whole lot. But I think with a player like Gino, and we've seen it firsthand, it can change tonight. I mean, like if you go back to last year, he was terrible with the Diamondbacks. And then it just flipped. The switch just flipped, and he went on an absolute tear, and it carried over into this year, and he became an all-star. And he's going to have 40 homers and 100 ribbies this year. Now, obviously, everyone listening to this wants some of those to come as a Mariner, right? Because they almost all came as a Diamondback, understandably. But with a guy like Gino, it can change on a dime. And it's pretty amazing that the Mariners have, since Gino got acquired, this road trip withstanding, the Mariners have swung it well on the last homestand. They're trying to become certainly more consistent on this road trip without him being a massive piece of that puzzle. But they certainly need him to start trending in that direction again. He doesn't have to carry this lineup. He just needs to lengthen the lineup, which is something he's certainly capable of doing.
He is Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
I missed Bump.
Bye, Aaron. I'm glad.
See you guys.
I'm glad Goldsmith just got that one last.
Oh, you knew he had to get a dig
punch.
in.
Yeah, he had to. Understandably.
That's his brand.
And you know what? I do too. Alex Mayer joins us next.
He's the best catcher in baseball.
Pitch the cow, swing and a drive.
And he's on Seattle Sports, Thursday afternoons all season long. It's the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
More history for Cal Raleigh.
I love being here and I love these fans in the city.
Catch every episode of the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show, presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, on the Seattle Sports YouTube page, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, it's Brock Eward. My family did it, and it saved us thousands. You got to do it. Take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. It's free. See how much First Mark can save you and how much better coverage you can get. They work for you. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Joining us right now, Alex Mayer on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
I'm great, Stacy. How are you guys?
We're good. Obviously, the Victor Robles suspension news hurts. Again, we will be updating you guys. Well, we have throughout the show, and of course, Wyman and Bob will give you updates as that comes along. But we wanted with you to look at the return of Bryce Miller, talk a bit about Cal and the MVP chase, and then take a look ahead to the road trip. We got a lot of other bases to cover here, no pun intended.
Let's do it.
I'll start with Miller's return tonight. I could not believe this stat when we heard it from Aaron. It's the first time we've had all 5 starting pitchers together.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah, I had to just quickly do like a gut check to make sure I was right, and then I thought, oh yeah, I completely forgot that Kirby.
That can't possibly
be true. What are you watching for from Bryce tonight?
Yeah, I'm really excited to have all 5 of the starters that we kind of penciled in at the beginning of the season back in the rotation at the same time. Yeah, just looking for more consistency from Bryce. I mean, we've seen what he can do. He had the sub-3 ERA, sub-1 WHIP season last year. Just was really, really good, and I think it's almost easy to forget that now that we're in August of 25, how good Bryce was and how good he can be down the stretch for us last year.
Alex, how's the Wi-Fi at Citizens Bank Park? Because I asked that. Jason Stark was in the building last night, and you two do more research on baseball stats than anybody that I know.
It's like Beyonce's halftime
Were you
show.
able to get within his glow? Like how
Oh gosh, so I'm actually back in Seattle for this road trip, but Jason's the best. He had me on his podcast a couple of years ago, which was honestly a career highlight for me because I've always looked up to his writing. His weird and wild columns are probably not surprisingly, but one of my favorites to read. So, yeah, I get to connect with Jason every now and then, winter meetings, all-star games, stuff like that. He's the best, and I've definitely looked up to him for a while.
What's the last search for a stat that kind of led to like a dead end? Because sometimes they're really weird. Like you posted one the other day, Cal Raleigh hitting his 100th RBI of the season, Julio with his 100th career double, and then you were like, Cal, where's 29? There have been 44-plus seasons with 100 RBI. Yeah. Julio, where's 44? There have been 29 players. Like, that's insane. When's the last one where it's like it led to a dead end, but it started out as a cool thought?
Oh, gosh. All the time, Stacy, honestly. Like, I feel like I won't actually post the stat until I find something good enough worthy of posting in my eyes. And once in a while it's a misfire, but usually I like to think I can kind of gauge what Mariner fans and even just more broadly baseball fans like to see when they're scrolling Twitter and looking for some of those, goofier notes. But once in a while, like it'll take me like a legit 3-4 hours to find something I really like. And then other times it just kind of comes together quickly and it's like, oh, 5 minutes, I know that I want to post something. But I can't really point to something specifically, but I will say, like, sometimes there's, like, maybe, like, 100 dead ends before I find a good one.
Alex, Cal hit number 47 over the weekend.
Yeah.
Did it in Williamsport, too. So, obviously, with each home run, there's about 20 milestones that Cal surpasses.
Yeah.
What's next on the docket with number 40? Obviously, Salvador Perez, but I feel like there's probably a million other notes that I'm missing.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I think I would argue his next 3 home runs are probably the biggest milestone home runs of the season thus far. Obviously, like you said, Cal's had a ton of them. He hit some first-half records, including most by a catcher before All-Star break, most by a switch hitter before the All-Star break, passing Hall of Fame names like Johnny Bench and Mickey Mantle, among others. But I think the next 3 are the biggest ones, honestly. I mean, his next one ties Perez for most home runs by a catcher in a season. Number 49 would obviously set the record for most home runs by a catcher. And then 50, I mean, 50 is a big number in baseball lore, as we all know. I think becoming the first catcher to hit 50 home runs is just as special, if not more special, than the 48 and the 49. And then, I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but with the way Cal's going, I'm taking a look at, like, Mickey Mantle's 54, most by a switch hitter, and then Junior's 56. I think that's the last big one, if you will, before, Cal possibly reaches 60. But Junior hit 56 in back-to-back seasons, which are the most by a Mariner in franchise history.
It's been a disappointing road trip, and in general, the Mariners have struggled on the road. I think entering their series against the Orioles, they had been like 30-30, something like that. We had talked about some of those pitching splits. So I need to reframe. I need some positivity. I need to look ahead to a trip back home here. You did find some encouraging things about the Mariners at T-Mobile.
Yeah. The Mariners are 12 games above 500 at home this season. They're 37-25. But I want to look at a couple things. I want to look at more recently at home. Mariners just wrapped up a 9-1 homestand, sweeping the White Sox and Rays. And then perhaps my favorite, it really shows how much our guys like playing in front of large crowds. When we draw 40,000 or more fans since the start of last season, the Mariners are an amazing 14-3. Wow. That's a winning percentage of about 82%, a little over. That's the best record in front of a home crowd of 40,000 or over. So I think, and you hear it from players in their post-game news conferences. Cal has said how much he likes playing in front of a full house at T-Mobile. Julio, Dan Wilson, Randy Arozarena said he literally performs better when the crowd's chanting his name. So I think the home field advantage factor at T-Mobile Park is real, and it's proven by the data.
Yeah, and so I guess
I think we know the solution now.
So if the Mariners sell out every game, they're going to break their own record of 116 wins. I think that's a fair assumption.
You see what I'm getting at, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, just trying to do my part, guys.
Alex, I want to peek into your Twitter drafts here because I imagine, look, it's the Meyer game-winning stat. Unfortunately, they lost on Sunday in the Little League Classic. I bet you, being the sicko that you are, had some pretty cool Little League stats that maybe just didn't see the light of day.
Oh man, I hate to disappoint, but I usually don't really start the research. I don't really start the research project until we win. That's the thing. I try not to get ahead of myself, and it's not out of superstition. It's more out of just like time allotment, I guess. But I really don't start the research project with the Mayer game-winning stat until we win or until we're knocking on the door of winning. And for as amazing as the day was in Williamsport, unfortunately, we weren't really close to winning. So didn't really come up with anything there, but I'm sure there was something to do with like a manager who played in the Little League World Series.
That's what I was wondering about.
There we go. Come on now. Yeah.
All right.
So something like that.
My last question. You mentioned, kind of tracking certain milestones with Cal when it came to home runs. How much do you have an eye on other stats? In particular, you mentioned how proud he is of his stolen bases.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of hoping Cal has like a 50-20 season because, like, I think like a phrase that's muttered too much in sports is like a unbreakable record. But like, let's be honest, is a switch hitting catcher going to have a 50-20 season again? So I'm hoping Cal does that. That would be really cool. But I'm tracking stuff all the time. I think the game notes document that myself and then our department produces every day. It's a lot more than just a tool for the broadcasters and the media. Some of our more hardcore fans enjoy reading them at the ballpark. And then all like the video board stuff that our productions crew is so good about posting, that comes from all the milestone tracking that our department does. And yeah, I think the next one that I have on my list is if Josh Naylor, when he hits his next home run, it'll be number 100, and we would become the first team ever to have 5 different players hit their 100th home run in the same season, because Cal, Garver, Randy, and Julio all hit their 100th home runs earlier this year.
A very cool stat to end this one on. He is Alex Mayer. Thanks so much, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, guys. You guys rock. Thanks.
All right, this has been The Dugout. Thank you again to Alex Mayer, Aaron Goldsmith, and Shannon Drayer for joining us. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/style upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/style upgrade.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, lots going on with the Mariners. Some roster moves. Bryce Miller being reinstated from the 15-day injured list. He'll get the start in Game 2 against the Phillies today. Seren Lau also called up from AAA Tacoma. Jackson Kowar and Casey Legumina have been optioned to AAA Tacoma.